Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of the Friends Watch Films podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Bailey, and today we're joined with Mitch, Todd, myself, Scott, Brandon, and Billiam. We're going to start off the first segment of the podcast.
For the second time. Sorry.
For the second time. Do you know what? He's not wrong.
We have to be honest.
We have to be honest. This is the second time we've done this. I did kind of forget to press record, but we're going to go with it. So we have a box of questions that you guys have sent us from Instagram, and we're just going to go one at a time, answer them, give our opinions on them, and then we'll go into the next part. If you want to start first, Mitch.
We'll release a failed attempt to cut content.
We will.
Yeah.
We did have a good thing about Spider-Man, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the
it's
audio
so
would just be
long.
terrible.
What is that?
Oh, God.
An essay?
Okay, so I can.
Come on.
Did Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace really deserve to be hated so much?
No.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, he's a silly character.
Yeah,
But-
and then
It's enjoyable. No?
it was like this whole.
Sorry, I thought you were the one that despised like comic relief characters.
Well, yeah, but like,
He's the epitome of them.
I like Jar Jar Binks. I don't know why.
Don't know much about. You weren't there.
Right, has
Okay.
anyone seen the theories about Jar Jar being a Sith Lord?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
no, it
you've
is
not
a
seen
theory.
there's theories.
What the heck?
Yeah,
So
no.
the second part of the question basically says like, what's your opinion on, like, if actors play a character and they get hated for playing that character?
Oh,
I was going to move on to. I thought we were going to the discussion of the Jar Jar. and then
Yeah, let's
move
go to
on
Jar Jar first.
Yeah.
But I personally think people who hate actors for playing characters that are hated, if they can't separate the fact that they're completely normal people just acting
Yeah.
and they hate the actor, I think they just need to grow up.
I think the actors clearly doing a very good job if they get someone to hate them though.
Yeah.
They're clearly doing like what they're supposed to be doing in the first place.
I recently rewatched Green Mile. Not trying to be like, look at me. I look at me. I go and watch big films. No, but the actor that played Percy in that is such like a brilliant role because you despise him so much that it kind of like you kind of feel justified about his ending. But it's the way that his actor portrays him, kind of like makes that character beat far more hitting.
Right. Okay.
There's a few actors who like always play weird characters though, so when you see him, you're like,
you'd be like, oh, okay, he's playing that
Like
character
Michael
again.
Cera plays Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler plays Adam Sandler for the fifth time.
Adam Sandler.
Does anyone have any
Every
actors? Does anyone have any actors where you see them in another film and you just think like, no, you're that?
John.
All the time.
Any
John
of the
Scran-
podcasts.
I was going
Just
to
say
say,
his
name?
if I see Daniel Radcliffe, I instantly think you're Harry Potter.
The guy I said, the guy from The Office, John.
Krasinski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. I see him in Marvel, but I can't see him as Jim from The Office. It's a bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
you just see
yeah.
Jim from The Office in it, like Marvel.
Why is Jim? Yeah.
Right, I have the best one
See,
first.
why is
Hugh
Jim
Grant,
in
Oompa Loompa.
Hugh Grant Oompa Loompa, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's
Hugh
just
Grant Oompa Loompa. It was a bit of a weird casting.
yeah.
It's a bit random.
I actually thought he did it really well.
He did do it well. It was so random.
What I quite like was like the ending song as well, where like we've seen so many times in musicals. It's like, oh, we'll just start a one school song, but it's like it's intercutting. I'm like, yes, right, where's the room house?
I love the fucking impressions. Do you want to go next, Todd?
Yeah, can do.
We'll move on to the next one.
Jar Jar Binks deserves to be hated, by the way.
No, he does not.
He does.
It's just annoying.
Attack of the Clones is the worst
Who's
Star Wars
Jar Jar
movie.
Binks?
He is
Yeah.
annoying. The actor is
He's
annoying.
annoying.
The
but he
character
doesn't
is
just-
annoying, yeah.
He's annoying and deserves to be hated.
Go for it, love. Oh.
If you could have any item from any film, what would it be? Etc. Car, weapon,
Oh, okay.
anything.
I have to think about that one.
Your hearts. If you.
I
The
would
world's
There's
have.
so many.
I would have the Elder Wand.
I think you would have the bloody Elder one. Who's the Harry Potter?
I fucking love Harry Potter.
Absolute yawn.
You're sorry.
Yawning
Right,
right now.
a wand you can do anything with.
Whoa,
anything.
let's not go there.
I just
Oh,
think,
God.
look, yes, it's the most powerful wand, and it's also the most useful bit of equipment. Like you can do anything you want with it. If you want to kill someone, you kill someone. No, but like, no, I just feel like it'd be actually genuinely really useful.
I think there's so many. I couldn't just pick one sole thing. I have three things. I'd either have the Infinity Gauntlet, because I'm Marvel.
That sounds worse.
Yeah.
Actually.
I would
I
have.
feel like-
I'd have the Ring to rule our rings, Lord of the Rings, or I would have the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Why is everyone? It's just gonna be OP items.
Yeah, no, see, that's
the
the thing.
conversation.
This is staying on Harry Potter, but an even more powerful item. It's actually my key ring.
Oh,
The
Time
time
turner.
turner.
Do you know what? That's a good one.
That is a
actually.
good idea.
That is a good
Because
one.
I could just stop the older one from being invented.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh
He's
shit!
got me.
Oh,
He's
we're
got
gonna
me.
calm down.
I actually don't know what I'd have. I don't know if it'd be something from like James Bond, like one of the Speedmaster watches with
Oh,
like
okay.
a little spinny.
I thought he was gonna go Doctor Who.
No.
Yeah.
I'd have
if
the
we're going
TARDIS.
purely off
Yeah,
films,
would you not have the TARDIS?
I'd have
I would, but purely off a film, I'd go.
Film. Okay.
I don't know. I'd probably go with like the Lamborghini Countach from Wolf of
Wall Street. I knew you was
Oh,
going.
that no. To be fair,
That's what he told us.
It's
isn't
like
it?
yeah,
it's just a
That's
car,
just
but
a
it's
car.
sick.
It's like the White Miami Vice one.
Before he crashes it or after?
before he crashed.
Oh god.
I'll find a loophole. Sorry.
Oh, go on.
Go on.
What's your loophole?
I'm just gonna get the Omnitrix.
Oh, do you know
I'm
what?
getting the
Oh,
I'm getting the Omnitrix.
why did I not
baby.
think of that?
Omnitrix.
Omnitrix.
What-
is
Ben
so-
Ben
10.
10.
Ben 10.
Ben 10
Oh.
watch. Oh.
Right, I'm about
I'd
to
rather
win.
have James Bond one.
The
already
Krabby Patty
picked.
secret formula.
Yo, dude.
No, you don't get the secret phone. You've already picked.
No.
You get one item.
Oh god. what
No,
would you do?
Omnitrix is generally such
That's
a
such a
good
good one. What would you go with, William?
Adventure Time. Just Jake's magical ability.
I like
Oh,
that.
they're like, yeah.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Just to do anything I can do.
I like that.
You slivery dog.
I am gonna go for one.
Dog, you.
You wet dog, you.
Rough.
Can I pet that dog?
Oh, yeah.
The dog.
Okay. Do you think any of us will actually make it in the film industry?
You gotta be realistic. The film industry
probably
is
not
a
me.
difficult one, innit? Really.
Yeah. I think it's very difficult.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, some of us don't want to.
Yeah.
Alright, look at me.
What-
Look at me
okay.
and just
I wasn't
say that.
trying to go.
Just for context, what do people somewhat think they want to do?
I mean, I'd like to go into like writing, directing, but obviously, writing's a lot easier to get into than directing because that's very much something that's behind the scenes in some cases.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know whether I
I've-
actually get anywhere. But
I have a question about your question. Do you mean it's like, what would you want to do if we were in the industry, or what
In
do we
general.
want to do?
In general, what do you want to do?
I mean, I don't want to work in the media industry.
Okay.
I've already decided that. So I want to be a teacher
Oh, that's good.
and
That's
then
fair.
focus on disability, like specialist teaching. So,
Oh, that's cool.
like, I love media. I love making stuff with friends, but like, I don't want to travel. I don't really want to indulge in like a.
this is where you're
yeah.
smarter than us.
Yeah, I mean,
You're like, I'm gonna get a stable job.
I mean, that's what. No, yeah, and then I'll do editing on the side because like editor is like what I
Yeah.
do in the media
Yeah.
industry
Yeah,
by
true.
far.
Yeah, don't like quit doing that because you're fucking
Going
sick at editing.
Yeah, true.
Language, by the way, PG podcast.
Oh, no, I don't mind.
Go on.
Go for it.
Get a stable
What do you
job.
think?
Well, sorry, I'm gonna take this off for a sec. I think, well, it's probably most unlikely that I'm going to be end up in any sort of like film role, but I would quite like to do something in the media. Not quite sure what it is, but
Mhm.
Jeremy
I've got
Clarkson.
partly that. That's just
Do you want to do
come on
something with
to that.
cars?
Yeah, you should do some like car journalism
Um,
and stuff.
Yeah, so I want to go into like magazine journalism.
Okay.
Essentially, do like a car magazine, which is sort of what I'm doing currently at the moment for uni.
For uni.
But I want to specialise in that and that be known as Jeremy Clarkson of the modern era. So
Of the modern era. Okay, that's fair enough. I want to do split into three things. I want to do cinematography. I also want to do content creation. And then the main thing I want to do is to run my own production company, which I'm trying to do at the minute. Media 26, get a plug. So that's the thing I want to do. I have done acting since I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I don't have any other option in my life where I see doing something realistic. That's what I've always wanted to do, and it's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I got kicked out of my acting class. What
Did
the
you?
hell?
Why?
Yeah, no, I wasn't behaved because basically they were doing like this musical, and I just wasn't gonna sing. I was like,
oh,
I was like, you're not gonna make me.
You see The Office when he does improv, he just out all the time just pulls out a gun and shoots.
No,
him.
because
That's it. Improv
it
ends,
was
he's
like
dead.
no, because she wanted me to dance as well, and I wasn't gonna do that. And I was like, I'm not gonna be a little show thing. I'm not gonna be a little chick.
Go.
That's
And then I
my
got-
key.
And I got
Goes
moved to
to a
like
drama class.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, no, I got kicked out. Ended up doing fine art, and then there was just kids who were drinking the supplies, so it wasn't. I'm not joking.
Drinking this. What do you
No,
mean?
no, I'm not gonna name drop him.
Just
honestly.
some win-
But
just
there was
some
this
window
kid.
cleaner in
There
the
was this
back.
guy who in the art class, and he had this horrible idea because we weren't a behaved class, but he got some like got like he mixed like all these like utensils like oils and paints to like it was just pitch black and he just swigs it in front of the teacher.
Oh, paint them.
Yeah, no, and then like legitimately, and like I mean he didn't care because I remember like we had to do this horror sketch for like the assignment.
I just saw Todd's face.
And then the teacher goes up to him because like we had like months to do this assignment,
right?
And he didn't do anything until the last day, and he drew like the shittest picture of a bird I've ever seen. And then the teacher goes up to him and I'm gonna come up with a fake name. Tom, so what would you draw? And he goes, "It's a crow," and he gets kicked out for the rest of the lesson.
Friends watch films.
That class sounds like you'd walk in. There's just that one kid at the back just sniffing glue.
No, that was the whole class. I mean, we were like one of the worst behaved secondary schools.
It's just like the back of the IT classroom, just playing like.
Oh, you don't even want to know what we did.
Yeah, the bigger picture to this is we all had that kid. In your case, you had that class.
Yeah.
That school.
And in terms of this podcast, I am that kid.
Yeah.
That's the question. Though,
Yeah, Brandon.
Anyway, yeah, like Todd, I'm in the sort of journalism field, so it's a different end to the media, but I quite like studio director. I'm already a content creator with football. Look at my LinkedIn. And
Go on, plug it.
yeah, I do content creation for football, but I'm also trying to get into the law field, so I'm just keeping my options open. In other words, avoiding adulthood as a student while I can.
Yeah, same.
And just for me, it'd
Getting
probably
great
be
again.
more. Shush.
Sorry.
For me, probably just more like any sort of roles I can get on stage, like on production. I'd rather be there on set.
Just see how it goes.
That's how I.
Yeah, just get onto a set.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And ask about.
It's set to fun though. I'm looking forward to final
Go on,
project.
just go.
Scott question.
Ooh.
Have you got the right one? Can you read?
Order the Back to the Future movies best to worst.
Oh, here we go.
Right, 1
to
second.
Worst, all of them.
Best to worst, no other order acceptable. Best, number 2, then number 1, then number 3.
I agree.
Yeah, I
that's
agree.
actually it.
Completely agree.
All right,
Yeah.
next question.
Is this where I?
Yeah.
You all agree?
Yeah.
This is where I just disclose I've never watched any of them because I think they're all like
But hang on,
just
hang
a
on.
stain on
You've
the-
watched
Go on, why?
you've watched Doctor Who, but you've never watched Back to the Future.
No.
This man's never watched
How?
How do you love one and hate the other?
No, because Back to the Future is just god awful.
But you've not watched it.
You've not watched it.
I've watched
What
like
do you
I've not watched
mean?
all of them, but what I mean is I've watched like part. I
So you
started
have watched
watching
them?
the first one, watched
So you have
30
watched
minutes
them?
of it, and was like, yeah, this is just not for me. And then I tried watching the second one, and I thought this is even worse. And the third one was like,
But
what is
like,
going on?
surely the whole concept of like
I put
time
Come Down
travel
with Me afterwards because it's much better entertainment. Come
is
Down
it?
with Me.
Is it to the concept of time travel being different to Doctor Who, or is it?
It just doesn't. It's just bad. It's just.
It's just
ugh.
bad.
It's like
You have got to
Forrest
remember-
Gump. Why did people
Amazing.
like Forrest Gump? It's just American propaganda.
You have got to remember it's a
It's just
1980s
American.
film. There is going to be drawbacks.
It warped, so
I've
Doctor Who
watched
could run.
1960s Doctor Who. I know what like crappy flipping effects look like, but Back to the Future is just a bit.
Billy,
I
I
can't
respect
speak.
your opinion.
I
but
don't.
You are wrong.
Fuck yeah,
you are wrong.
You're wrong.
Back to
So
the
you
Future
know
is
it's
a
like-
I mean, the rest of
sign
us all
film
agree, so we can just
industry.
like move on.
Get
Yeah,
it
let's move on.
gone.
Clip that for the TikTok.
Get it
1, 2,
gone.
3, 4, 5 to. Oh, I'm sorry.
Alright.
You voted out here. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go on, Brandon, before you scrap.
That shit, I've not
Bunch
watched them.
of
Or I have
yap
watched
from
them.
you.
Yappa,
Make your
yappa,
mind
yappa,
up.
yappa.
Attention! What is the best movie franchise ever?
That's not, again. This is the
If
whole.
any of you say Back to the Future, then I'll leave.
Back to the Future. No.
I mean, this again. This is like.
Star Wars.
There's no like definitive
Star
best though.
Wars.
None
It's
of
very
them.
much.
None are perfect.
That's-
None of per.
There's no
Wait,
definitive
I mean,
best.
if we're talking influence,
Fast and Furious. There we go.
What?
Sure. Go on.
if we're
Have
talking
you
influence,
not watched,
I
like,
suppose
the
Star
most
Wars.
recent-
What? No.
No.
So
Oh,
not watched
no,
all of
no,
it.
it's
here's my
pretty bad.
verdict. So the franchise from the first ever Fast and the Furious film
Yeah.
up to number 4 or 5, I'd say cut off is probably 5.
But you have.
Yeah, but you have to
You have to
include
include
the whole franchise.
Yeah.
You can't just cut it off where.
That's why I
Because
don't agree with Star
The
Wars.
reason, the whole point of it being
Like,
a bad
half,
franchise
just
is because
kinda.
you know after 5 it gets shit.
That's why
Yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
nothing's perfect.
Family.
It's like they've all got to drop off.
Is the whole Wallace and Gromit? Is that one franchise?
Yeah.
Or is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
just- Say that then. Boom.
Thanks, I agree.
That's
But, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't agree.
that's
I think
not
either
bad.
Star Wars or Lord of the
I
Rings.
think
but-
the Kung Fu Panda and How to Train Your Dragon trilogies are very fucking
Yeah.
well rounded.
They're,
Yeah,
There's not
they're
a
strong.
yeah,
Are
there's
we-
not
are we
really.
agreeing
They're all
Yeah.
very consistent.
Are we
Yeah.
agreeing here that the Kung Fu Panda 2 is the best one?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yes, actually. I
Yeah.
Because
do.
Gary Oldman.
Carry on.
I mean, it's hard. I mean, there's like the Godfather films as well.
What about
the
Batman trilogy?
Oh, the
Yes.
Batman trilogy.
Batman.
As in the
Christian
Bale.
Bale.
Christian
Yeah.
Bale.
Christian Bale,
The Batman
yeah.
trilogy is
Look, to be fair, though,
Yeah.
he's not a good Batman.
What?
He's
I
he's
agree.
a great Christian
Right.
Bale.
No,
as a Batman,
he's a great Christian
it's
Bale.
just-
Yeah, he's,
but it's just a bit.
you mean
it's
Bruce
just-
Wayne?
Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
He's a great Christian Bale.
He's a
he's a
great
great
Christian
Bale.
Bale.
No,
He's
he's a
just
great-
himself.
No, he's a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But as a Batman, he's just a bit over the top.
I completely agree with that actually.
Yeah.
Because it's just like I also think the Batman voice was like. Rah, blah,
It's
blah.
with
him, it was like. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's such an
feel-
iconic thing now.
Yeah,
though.
but
Like,
that's
he's
just
been smoking 30 a
Batman,
day.
I do feel like
It just
it's,
sounds like
it's in comparison to George Clooney playing Batman. George Clooney's was a bit more like comedical,
Yeah.
whereas like
Have you watched The Batman? You haven't, have you?
The Batman's like
not all of them though.
The Batman is
The
good.
Batman.
No, the new one is in.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Patterson.
Robert
Pattinson,
Robert
Pattinson.
Pattinson. Yeah,
No, I
my
haven't
girlfriend.
seen
I,
that one.
I remember going to watch the film and thinking this is going to be so shit, and then I watched it and I was like, what the fuck have I just watched? This is amazing.
No, yeah,
It's
Robert
so
Pattinson is
good.
like the best like
Another
Batman.
thing.
We ignore
I-
though after like what's the last one? Dark Knight. Is that the last?
Yeah.
No,
Bale
they're not.
ones?
Yeah.
I
We
think
ignore the time period between that one and Patterson because any film with Batman in between that was a bit.
Yeah.
I also think the Dark Knight trilogy sort of set the tone for superhero films becoming a bit less comic-y.
I agree.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
that. I
yeah.
think they did set the tone.
I mean,
Like in terms of influence on franchises now in that superhero
I
field.
mean, look at like.
it was a bit
90s
more
Batman.
cinematic, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Rather
I
as
think-
opposed
Yeah.
to George Clooney's, where it's all about it's all a giggle, isn't it? It's like
I
Like, look
think,
at
uh,
90s Batman is just, like, as you say, it's just giggles. It's just not taken seriously.
Yeah.
How?
I mean, in terms of best Batman, it's Kevin Conroy.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
voice-wise,
yeah. Well,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it
Like,
just depends.
like the games and everything.
Yeah, I mean, the animated series. as
The
well.
animated series is great.
Yeah, it's like with like Batman films. I agree with that. With Christian Bale's Batman is a bit, but I do think
I think,
the trilogy is still
although
very
I
important.
love the like Christian Bale Batman, I think what carries those films is Heath Ledger's Joker, and
Yeah, yeah.
Bane, and like it's all the villains. I
Yeah,
think.
the villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I agree with Bane.
I love Bane, but I
I
think
love
Heath
Bane.
Ledger's
No,
Joker
but Heath Ledger.
is
Joker
Yeah, I
is
agree with Joker.
absolutely incredible.
Heath Ledger's Joker is something else.
I think Bane in particular. I
Scar-
think it began as a really good interpretation of Bane, but then he got probably the worst send off where he kind of just got run over and never came back.
Yeah,
But, like,
true. 'Cause,
yeah.
like, Bane is
One
very
thing I
different
didn't like
television.
about that trilogy actually was how they sort of ended off Scarecrow.
Yeah,
Scarecrow's
I
cool.
didn't
Yeah.
like. I
Scarecrow's
liked
utterly
Scarecrow, but I
terrifying.
didn't
Yeah.
like his ending for his character.
I'm particularly not a fan
You've got
of
huge potential
the
Cillian
Scarecrow.
Murphy as well.
I know Cillian Murphy is quite a good actor, but in that it's just like
See, that's the thing. I think it was.
It could have been better.
I think obviously the director wanted to choose Cillian Murphy. However, I don't think he was actually that suited to the role
Yeah.
because Scarecrow it can
Well,
be.
it-
Christopher Nolan.
I just don't think we had
Christopher
enough
Nolan-
time with Scarecrow.
Wasn't
Then.
it more that he Cillian Murphy auditioned for Batman?
yeah,
Yeah,
did.
he did,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
kind of more
Yeah.
as a favour was given the role. Of
Yeah,
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
Yeah.
And they've just worked with each other.
I mean,
ever since.
I don't think Cillian Murphy was the issue with Scarecrow. I think it was the fact that we didn't really see Scarecrow that much, and even then, I don't
That's
think he was
true.
really given that much with the scripts and the role anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
Like-
I think they just how they're perceived. Like, if you ever played any of the Batman games,
Great games.
Scarecrow is completely different to how you see, like completely different.
Yeah. So it in that trilogy is just a bit of a weaker character.
Yeah. Do you want to go with yours, William?
Right,
Even though we went completely off topic then, just talk about Batman.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let's take the Batman right.
What is the most overrated television show?
Television show.
Ooh.
I already feel like someone's gonna
Big
say
Bang and
something.
like and Friends is like the
I
obvious
was gonna say
answers.
Friends.
Yeah.
I was
Definitely
gonna say the
Friends.
Big Bang Theory.
I am
Big
going-
Bang Theory is just pure brain rot.
Yeah.
It,
I want to say
seen
something.
that.
I'm not gonna lie.
What
I
family
absolutely
guy?
love the Big Bang Theory. I think it's
I
great.
partly feel
I
like
fucking love the Big Bang Theory.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
You absolute don't you even dare.
No, I'm
Brooklyn
rewatching that at
Nine-Nine
the
is the
moment.
best TV show ever made.
It's
Period.
so
Not
I don't even
good.
care what you say.
Not
Right.
Brooklyn
Still
Nine-Nine
think
is
The Office is
amazing.
Family
No,
Guy
it's not.
is awful.
Family
I mean,
Guy.
Family Guy is
Yeah.
an out of context
Personal
show.
preference, but I think Office is better.
No, it's not. Brooklyn Nine is way better than The Office.
Family Guy is only good in clips.
Yeah, I agree.
Ah,
Oh yeah, I could not watch
Oh,
a
you
full
could
episode of
have
Family
done
Guy.
It's just out of context for funny.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Yeah.
And
Because-
purely
because-
shock factor.
Yeah.
Stewie's like Brian.
Brian.
With a try and stuff.
Brian,
Brian.
I am
I
gay
think it's
baby.
quite one-dimensional. Like every character is
Everyone
just
Brian.
one joke.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no actual dimension to any of the characters in Family Guy. Or
No, yeah.
Stewie
It's just
and Brian.
trying to be funny.
The only time it's interesting is when it's like Brian and Stewie on their own story, because other than that,
because they're the only characters that actually
I'm
have
gonna
development.
just
Yeah,
crash
no,
into
literally.
the Eiffel
Everyone
Tower,
else is irrelevant.
I think Stranger Things is worth bringing into the conversation.
Is it?
Oh.
I
Is
disagree
it?
with you on that.
No, because I think
Disagree.
with Stranger Things, I think the first season's really good, but I think over the next few seasons, I think it's completely.
I am going to say the first season of Stranger Things is absolute dog shit, and then it gets better.
I think 3 is the
I
absolute
agree.
peak of Stranger
Season
Things.
3 is the peak of Stranger
No,
Things.
yeah.
4 almost takes on a bit of a horror tone.
Yeah, I
No,
love
but
it.
But I still
the
like
episode
it.
the episode in season 2 where like 11 tries to find others like her is just
It was the most watched thing on Netflix for years until Wednesday and Squid Game came out.
Wednesday was shit, by the way.
Squid Game's
That's
okay.
a shout overrated.
Yeah, Squid Game.
Oh,
overrated.
yeah,
Squid
Squid
Game's
Game.
massive.
I mean, just watch the anime that it took inspiration from.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Or watch, what was it, Money Heist?
Money Heist.
I never watched it.
Netflix makes so many random things.
Yeah, I saw.
I started
Because
watching
they have the money
Money
for it.
Heist.
They just have money project.
Yeah, literally.
Has anyone seen The Watcher?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, overrated.
Overrated.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Yeah.
Something
Henry
underrated.
Cavill. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. We're gonna. If you pass me El Boxo. Thanks to El Boxo. I'm gonna collect your shit. That's good for it, actually.
Thank you.
We're gonna
We
go.
shouldn't have mixed them back in actually, because there's questions we haven't done.
That's very true, but oh well, live off love.
That peaked.
Yeah. You know, number 2 just absolutely just like
screaming then.
nah. Okay, we're gonna wing the sections. 'Cause we're good with it. Second part, we're gonna go into. For context, me and Todd live together, and recently over the last summer, this man has made me watch nearly 60 years worth of Doctor Who.
Yeah, you say that.
No.
This is a cry for help.
Yeah. This is a cry
He
for
has
help.
me at gun.
How? No.
Stop.
It's
Sit back. Sit back.
Yeah. So I've never watched Doctor Who before the summer just gone, and he made me watch a lot of Doctor Who. I now like Doctor Who. I won't say I love it like you do, but I like Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I know Billiam's into Doctor Who. Recently, it's resurfaced again.
A little bit.
With there being the
Tickle bit.
60th anniversary. So I guess, what do people think about Doctor Who being big again in media? What do they think about David Tennant making a return for his specials? And if anyone doesn't know anything about Doctor Who, do you think it's good? Do you think it's not? What's your opinion?
I've only watched the Van Gogh episode.
And that is the correct answer.
I've only watched the Van Gogh episode.
Love the
Scott,
Yeah.
That's how you got
what do you
started.
think
That's
is
how I.
your-
That's how I was.
Your less experience.
I remember watching some stuff when I was a kid, but not really. It's not really fresh in my memory enough to sort of give it a proper opinion.
Okay. that's fine.
Because I mean, I'm very aware of Ncuti Gatwa because I watched Sex Educational Theatre. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
In that.
It's such a different transition in it.
Yeah, so I thought that's a really interesting move. I hope he does well. By the sounds of it, he's done all right. But I know that can be up for debate as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's as far as my opinion can really go for Doctor Who, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sort of in a similar boat to Scott, but I guess I can sort of see how culturally recognisable Doctor Who is in terms of like
such
the
a British
Daleks,
thing.
Exterminate, and the TARDIS. And I feel like it's...
Yeah, Brandon, you've got Cyberman.
I think it's quite...
Billiam's just screaming about everything.
Screaming, he's like, please.
But yeah, like, it's very culturally recognisable whether you watch it or not, and it's very big news whenever there is another Doctor, and I feel you have to be living under a rock to really not know when something's coming out about it or there's some development within it.
Yeah, if anyone says I've never heard of Doctor Who, they're just fucking lying.
Go on, you two. Go on.
Right, let's go.
Let's let the nerds talk.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Right, so the 60th anniversaries were all right. I feel that they kind of felt like season 4 continued as opposed to actual anniversaries, because it just kind of felt like, oh, and here is David Tennant, because that's an old Doctor. We're looking at the past, where it just kind of felt like, for me, it felt like Russell T Davies didn't put in enough like anniversary content, enough like retro content into the new Doctor Who's, so kind of throughout this whole like classic stuff. So like I think like Tales of the Companions, which had like 2 companions from like I think there was 4 episodes, and it was from different iterations of the Doctor. So classic companions. So before it went off air in '89, But and then they released the first Dalek episode. They released that in color, and they did a whole remaster of that. And I've watched that, and that was superb because they actually got the original Dalek voice actor for that, and he got to like redo some lines. And he's like 89. He's really old.
Right.
Something Graham, I think. I can't remember exactly, which is defeating me as a big nerd. No, but I think that they realised there wasn't enough like anniversary content, so they kind of threw out, oh look at this, we do appreciate the past, but the actual 3 episodes were all right. Okay. But I did like Neil Patrick Harris as the Toymaker.
I love Neil Patrick. I loved him.
My verdict is that I agree with you that it seemed a bit like a continuation of Series 4 in some ways. A lot of it was kind of the first episode. Remind me which one that was.
Oh, that was the Meep.
The
Meep one.
Yeah. Second one, they're on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. The third one, definitely the best anniversary episode. I think personally. I think because Neil Patrick Harris did an amazing job at playing the Toymaker, that was like sensational for me. It was almost like reminded me a bit of John Sims' Master from Series 4.
Sure.
You love that, like the character of the Master.
Yeah. But the first 2 episodes I'm not keen on. I feel like it was a bit like bit of a piss take really. Like, oh, here's David Tennant in like full scale CGI climbing through a corridor. It's like,
what was the arm thing?
Oh no, for me the Meep episode was solid. It was a nice episode to bring it back after the kind of the fall off with Jodie Whittaker, which was more the writing than anything else, but less of that. With the second episode, I enjoyed that a lot. It is a case you do have to try and ignore the obviously not great CGI. It's odd because the thing with Doctor Who is that they've had a partnership deal with Disney. Yeah. Although I've heard somewhere that apparently the 3 anniversary specials didn't actually have any direct budget from Disney. Like, had a bit of an increase than usual, but it was only until Shoot You Get was first one, the Christmas Day special, where they actually had like full-on Disney money. That's why the ship in the sky looks so good in that one. It's because that's Disney money. Whereas they were in the 60th anniversary ones, it was more they're kind of still riding a bit more BBC budget, which isn't obviously the greatest in the first place. But the second episode, if you ignore the not so great CGI, it's a very good like trying to find the word for it. It's like just a single episode, isn't it? A canned episode where they're just trapped in one place and they can't just go here, there, and everywhere. So if you know that, it's a very good episode. The third one, if you take out the bits with Neil Patrick Harris, is kind of really subpar.
I get it to some degree, but what upset me about the last episode of David Tennant's like 60th anniversary was that when it got to like the regeneration scene, obviously no one realised that it was going to be like the 2 Doctors.
It was weird,
but for me, it felt like it should have been like in Series 4. It was evident that he wasn't ready to go. He was like,
I agree with what you're about to say.
The speech for that, it should have been
like, I'm ready to go now.
How Russell T Davies had written it, of like, oh, Alonzi. It was a bit like,
I have no fucking clue what you're saying.
It's basically one of David Tennant's catchphrases that he uses as the Doctor.
It's Doctor.
But there's an emotional one where he regenerates and turns into Matt Smith, where he says, "I'm not ready. I don't want to go." And I feel like there should have been a link between that one and this one,
saying that he's now ready to go.
Saying that he was ready to go, and that there was like
it's shit.
It could have had like a bit more emotional, like pull at the heartstrings, like
rather than just we've got a new Doctor, right? Go away now.
Yeah,
you've been here 3 episodes.
Now it's like it seems like it's gonna be one of those things with the BBC where every 10 years for 70.
Oh, guess what? David Tennant's back again.
It's like it's obviously like it is very much like giving special service to David Tennant. Whereas you get like Peter Capaldi coming out being like, I'm just not gonna try and return because it will just be a case of it'll be seen as like, oh, I'm coming back for this, but then I'll come back for this, and I'll come back for this, as opposed to just like that was my tenure.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it to just that.
Yeah, I think that's how it should be because now it opens up this like dilemma of you got a Doctor stuck on Earth with Donna, essentially, with
his own TARDIS.
His own TARDIS. But then out of that, you've got
the
new Doctor with a brand new TARDIS with the same problems.
Yeah,
but then there's weird. The whole purpose of the TARDIS finding problems to, essentially the Doctor to solve. It's now one of those things where there's two TARDISes across two different time streams, but which Doctor's going to go to it?
Yeah,
and obviously also, a lot of it we're not going to see off on screen, are we? But
the third episode's climax is really, really bad because this celestial toy maker, he can manipulate the likes of gods, right?
Excuse me, don't do the mix.
I just turned this guy and just went, Neil Patrick Harris.
Best actor in that. He has the ability to turn gods into dust.
Yeah.
And then loses
and
the catch, and it felt really, really cheap. And also I know it was said. It was so obvious that the three of them weren't there, and they were trying to put CGI in.
Yeah.
With
how do you feel about? Obviously, there's a bit to do with the Master being captured in a gold tooth, and essentially the gold tooth is discarded at the end, isn't it? When the toy maker gets squished into the box.
Someone picked it up, and there's been numerous theories of who that is.
Yep.
There's
it's Riverside.
I can't remember.
You do know if this was completely taken out of context, people would think you're having an episode. I swear I put the toy maker with the golden tooth and I threw it away.
Literally, because they said that Cheeks Monsoon's joining the cast for the new series.
Yeah.
And the red fingernails might be that character.
Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers.
Some say it could be in the 2007 series season 3.
Yeah.
It could be one of the Time Lords picking it up and kind of disappearing.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I will try and restrain myself now.
With the topic of Doctor Who, what do you think about obviously the Doctor's Shuigawa's new companion? It recently got released that they might be getting or have got dropped from their role.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and they filmed the first one, and then Shuigawa got renewed for a second season. What do you think about that, and what did you think about The Apprentice so far from what you've seen from her?
Firstly, kind of nulls and voids any sort of real tension for the first season of Shuigawa, because we now know there will be a season 2. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, true.
So we now know whatever Pickle gets himself into is kind of like...
Yeah. I love the idea of the Beatles episode, by the way.
Oh, no, I do.
I'm so excited for that.
But with that, also, I'm trying to find if there's actually any truth in that, because I think Shuigawa did put something on his story, but other than that, it's kind of just been a bit hush. I mean, it's the actress from Andor, I believe, is meant to come in.
She's from Andor.
But she might be coming in just in general, but we'll see. I struggle to find any real truth in it. It just could be some wild rumor it does reek slightly of Christopher Eccleston, because it was barely into like his first season, obviously, because he only did the one season. Barely into this first few episodes, and it came out that he was going to be dropped, and David Tennant would be the new one by the end of the year. So that was
there was a big argument, wasn't there, between Russell T Davies, the production team, and Christopher Eccleston. So that's why David Tennant came on so long.
Yeah.
But whether or not it's a similar issue, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Right.
I just smiled and nodded.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Going on to the next part now. For 2023, big year for lots of different films. There was Barbie, Oppenheimer, etc. What do people think was something they saw last year or the beginning of this year that they've really enjoyed? Something they maybe thought was overrated, underrated?
I have notes.
Okay.
So this is in neither of those categories, but we have to discuss Saltburn.
I agree with this.
Wasn't that getting its own segment, or?
Oh no, we will. We'll start with Saltburn, and then we'll go into that.
Okay.
Murder on the Dance Floor.
Oh, this man's excited. Okay, I think I already know that most people here don't like Saltburn, apart from me and Brandon.
I thought it was alright.
Do you think it was alright? I know you do not like it at all.
It's not at all. It's just. Should I give my opinion first?
Go on.
Okay. So basically, my opinion on Saltburn, it's just totally built on shock factor, but half the time I felt like those shocks were very much expected. There was nothing really actually that surprising if you properly paid attention to it. It was just more of the certain act that the character did that was shocking. like the cinematography was good as well. I thought some of the colors were brilliant and the shots were really nice. But as a whole, it was a bit of mid.
Okay, I have a question for you. When did you watch Saltburn?
It was 3 weeks ago.
Interesting. I watched Saltburn when it first came out, before any of the thing on TikTok was a thing, before anyone was like, oh my god, bathtub butt thing.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it and I did not expect anything that was going to happen.
Okay.
Do you think you maybe expected things were going to happen because everyone was talking about
I'd heard about bathtub scene, grave scene.
Yeah.
That is all I've heard.
Okay.
The rest was
okay.
The rest was, completely.
See, I just got
new to me.
I got the grave scenes.
I was exactly the same as Scott. I didn't know of it until.
You've now watched Saltburn,
TikTok.
haven't you? Because you didn't want to for a while.
Yeah, I kind of got forced into watching it by my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Ollie showed you some scenes.
Yeah, we showed you.
Yeah.
You showed me some scenes.
Can't say like it's not really my sort of vibe, but
I don't think it's anyone's particular sort of vibe.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like you said, I love the cinematography in it.
I
like the
actually
colours.
think, looking past all the shock factor, which is very much a large part of the film,
Yeah.
it is an actual very good plot about obsession.
I was going to say, I like the plot.
Is it my
Also, kind
turn?
of like the
Oh,
whole
no.
trend on TikTok of clearly, obviously rich people dancing
And
around
then
their
the
homes, the
homes.
song, not realizing the actual point of
Quite-
the song.
Yeah.
Oh,
Literally.
yeah.
It's so stupid.
Okay, so is it my turn to get
Yeah,
the
here
opinion
we
on the film now?
Yeah.
This
Sit
was like
back.
40
Sit-
minutes added to
Everybody,
this shit. No.
okay.
So like, I watched it early January, so I think
Okay.
that was when people just started talking about it. I only heard about the grave scene at the time,
Okay.
and then so I watched it, and then I think cinematography and use of color is gorgeous, and it really was building up to something really interesting, like the whole obsession plot and stuff like that. Because at the start, I think it started off a bit slow initially, but obviously it ramped up quite a bit, and it really does like start to like interest you and pull you in. And then when people are saying like, "Oh, it's got some of the most messed up scenes ever," no, it doesn't.
No,
They're
I
not.
agree.
If you watch like any
Yeah.
horror,
Yeah,
it's
that's what I
like-
See, that
mean.
one thing as well.
Right.
I
It's
watched.
terrifying.
like
Yeah.
in terms of like,
Yeah.
I'm not done.
no,
I'm gonna kill
I'm
you.
trying to like, because there is a
Yeah.
difference between horror and like that is what you class as acceptable.
Yeah, no,
It's not.
no, but like because people were saying it was like fucked up and stuff like that, and obviously,
Yeah.
yeah, those scenes weren't particularly normal, and if you're not expecting them, then they do hit a
Yeah.
bit harder.
Yeah.
But like,
It's not compared to some other things.
not even in horror, there's worse things been shown. So like so I think if you're going in for that, you're going to be disappointed.
It's like a baby step into shock factor.
Yeah.
almost.
Yes. Yeah.
But then again, I think cinematography carries most of it. But the thing is though, as it builds up to this like really like interesting plot, and you're waiting to see how it unfolds, the ending just fucking ruins it for me. Killed the entire film off for me. I lost all interest at the end.
It's not the greatest ending.
It's a bit random, innit? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I did all this, I did all this. Oh, I'm in my house now, so we're dance.
That's why I feel like as good as you said, the story does get, it ruins it.
Yeah, because like with the whole obsession thing and how his character develops, you think it was just like this natural character development, but then it's just this whole he was an evil mastermind the whole time.
And
He's
it's
planning
such
it
a
all, and it was
cliche,
just
Such a
like
man.
cliche thing,
I
yeah.
hate
It was
cliches.
like,
they just completely character
Yeah.
assassinated their main protagonist and
Yeah.
undid everything that was interesting to begin with, and
Yeah.
then it was just kind of like, that picture of like Patchy the Pyro Rage goes, is that it?
Yeah.
That was actually how I felt.
The
after
grave
watching it.
scene, I've heard it's improvised, but
Yeah, it
still,
is.
it feels like forced shock factor almost.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yes.
I
really
can't believe
that
that's
necessary.
Improvised, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was more the fact that it went on for like 10 minutes, and I was like, okay, I get the
Yeah.
point.
I get the point.
Yeah. But I think it's a good film. I think it's definitely like better than your average like slop that comes out most of the time. It's definitely worth the watch.
Slop film.
But like,
Yeah, it's worth a watch. I'd say that much.
Is that just the
wouldn't-
bathtub scene, or is that just
no,
general slop?
whole film's like good. Like it's just, I don't know. If
That
you
was
went,
in my ear, man.
if you went in going expecting like this really like sick and twisted film, you're not
It's
gonna
not.
find
You're
it.
not gonna find
No.
it.
You're not gonna find it in there. I think. I hope it wins something for cinematography though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, right. 2023.
Mhm.
Get the notes.
Yeah,
Wonka.
get the notes on
Let's
it.
see, you've got Wonka, Barbie, Oppenheimer. There's more.
There's-
I'm
yeah.
ranking.
Ferrari.
But
Ferrari.
yeah,
It's
of
Ferrari.
course.
This year or last year?
Ferrari's December 2023.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tail end of
yeah, so it's right at the
2023.
end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, you, Ollie, and Brandon, you watched Wonka. You loved it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I loved
I
Wonka.
watched it.
Yeah.
Have you
Not
as well?
watched Wonka.
I
Yeah.
Not the
think
chance.
it
Not
was
watched
like
it.
the perfect film for like a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, etc. I think the way they link it in the end to Charlie himself with like the golden ticket and everything is so good. Like how they create it. I think that oh my god, I forgot his name now. Who played Wonka?
Timothy Chalamet.
Thank you, Timothée Chalamet. I think he was the perfect casting for it.
Yeah, I was about to say that there was a lot of doubts about him going into it, but I thought that like slight lunacy, but also like eccentric feel, he really got that across well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm gonna say right 2 things here. Number one, Timothy Chalamet does impress for me, and he, as well as those, I thought he was also quite whimsical. He also had that whimsical nature that older Wonka still does have. So he impressed a lot. It wasn't just big name casting, and he actually did like it came off. The only objection I have to it, Jeremy Allen White, because he looks oddly similar to Gene Wilder, and that kind of would have been a nice little bridge as opposed to.
He wouldn't have been able to do a musical though because he can't sing.
Neither can Timothy Chalamet.
See, I think you can't just like. Well, yeah, he wasn't the greatest. It was very. But I think the thing with Jeremy Allen White, as much as he looks like Gene Wilder, that's the only thing he's really got in common. His acting style is completely different. He does really different roles.
But you say that, but it could, it's a good thing for an actor to have range.
Of course, yeah, but at the same time, you don't want them to go into it and then they're just absolute shit.
Yeah, true. Go on, Todd.
Can I personally say, I chose not to watch it because I saw the trailer and I was just put off by the cast.
I love the cast. It was just the Peep Show cast. I loved it.
I remember watching the trailer and thinking, "This is shit. I'm not going to go watch it." And
that's my thoughts.
Yeah, the trailer really did disappoint.
Yeah, and then I watched it. And I was like, "Oh wait, never mind."
I think I'm not particularly the fact it's been done like 2 or 3 times now. It's getting a bit repetitive. Like I'm almost expecting another one to come out in say like 5 or 10 years time.
Just do one of Oompa Loompas.
Yeah,
they could easily do
the original from the 60s, best one.
70s.
I agreed.
Yeah. Not a fan of Johnny Depp's one.
Disagree.
Has good ideas, but it
has good ideas.
I like the undertones to the Johnny Depp character.
Just not a fan of it.
All right.
And then the third one, refused to watch it. I'm like, why do I need to watch something that if something's... See, the phrase is, if something's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And that's the first one. The first one was perfectly fine. I think they should just let.
The first one is the best
but this is Hollywood, bro.
I mean,
they can make money.
They drain shit until it's dry.
I mean, the main reason I didn't watch it initially was, well, one, I just didn't have the time for it, but I initially put it off because I'm just sick of remakes as a whole. Because remakes are like a really big thing currently.
Yeah.
So that's just
like
not
Disney
fun.
Like Ghostbusters.
So it's just like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna watch it. But then it came out. And then everyone was saying like really positive things about it, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a watch, and I just haven't had the time for it. So it's definitely one of the things on the watch list. But
2023, 2 biggest films, Barbie and Oppenheimer. What do we think of Oppenheimer?
I have a question. Hold on. Should we do like the biggest films, all of us, and then we'll go by like each one? Everyone gives like 2 films they've watched themselves.
Yeah, let's do that.
Right, Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Barbie and Oppenheimer. We'll start with Oppenheimer. It's Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, it's Christopher Nolan.
I'm gonna say, I loved it. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as these other films. That's my opinion.
It's a bit long.
It's a bit long. There's some bits in it I'm like, that is amazing. But then, like, I'll watch Inception or Interstellar and I think it's nowhere near.
I've got a similar thoughts to you where I think the last half an hour of Oppenheimer wasn't really needed. We kind of got the gist throughout the film. It could have been rounded up quite nicely. There was certain cinematic things that were like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like the music and the
score is amazing.
Yeah.
I love the score.
Yeah, I think you're going for the sound design.
Yeah.
I feel like Oppenheimer is going to be one of those films that if you don't see it in the cinema, I think you kind of missed out.
Yeah.
Like, one of the main things I've heard people say is, the sound design for that movie is fucking incredible.
There's certain things when I watched it in the cinema, though, where I was like, the music's a bit too loud, you can't really hear what people are saying. I think that could have been, like, sorted out.
One of my favourite attentions to detail in the film is he says very early on, in about an hour and 55 minutes we'll find out if it works. It's like in the classroom, so it's talking about the theory and stuff. and like an hour and 55 minutes later in the film, it's after the bomb's been set off, but it's when someone in the same room as Oppenheimer turns and says it worked. And that was just like the perfectly synced up the same amount of time.
Oh, that's cool. Like little things like that.
Yeah.
Like nice little attention to detail.
I like the
which you kind of expect from Christopher
I think it's at
Nolan.
the end, where he's talking to Einstein again, and they're stood by like the lake, and it shows all like the drops in the lake of like when he throws a stone, but it's actually supposed to represent like the missiles that are all being set off. I think that looks really, really cool. But yeah, I really, really liked it. When I went to watch it, I watched it in IMAX, and that was, like you said, it was so loud that I couldn't hear what people were saying, but it was so good. And then I remember like when the bomb went off, it was like silent, and then it scared the shit out of me. It was so loud, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Have you
That's
seen
part
that
of the
video
cinema effect
online?
of it as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video online where someone's obviously like watched it in a cinema, filmed it? Don't suggest you do that, but like obviously got an audience reaction, and then someone farts at the same time.
Yeah, I've seen that. What do we think of Barbie?
Overrated.
I think Barbie was better than Oppenheimer.
Agreed.
Thank you.
I personally haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it on TikTok and Instagram, but I've not personally watched it. But obviously there is some sort of debate going on around it.
Also, Greta Gerwig is the most overlooked director currently.
Yes.
Because wasn't it Pretty Woman? Pretty much she did also, and pretty much every single like department of that film got nominated for an Oscar. Apart from
at the Oscars.
So it's kind of
It happened again.
And it's happened again.
That's fucking stupid. I think Barbie, obviously the whole, not necessarily the whole point, but the whole point being the message behind it.
Yeah.
I think people, because they see the film and they think this is shit because it's about Barbie and it's about this and it's about this, it gets so overlooked.
That's not why I think it's shit.
No,
I just think it's not great.
I mean, I think the film does really well conveying its message, because that message has always been a thing about it. That's not even a thing. It's just about that's the whole thing about the Barbie brand. But like I do think people who argue about which is better, Oppenheimer and Barbie, because they like released on the same day. I think it's just. I don't think both films would have made as much as they have if they didn't release together.
Oh no, I completely
agree. Like at the time it was just Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, because I can't remember the last time I saw this. Like when it was like the whole Barbenheimer, that was the first time in years I've seen a full cinema.
Yeah.
Like it got people watching a film they would have never normally would have watched.
When I went to see Oppenheimer, like you couldn't move. It was packed. Like every single seat was taken.
Yeah, and then I think it's just personal preference at that point. Personally, I prefer Oppenheimer because if you know, on this podcast you kind of realize I have a taste for certain films. I like historical films, but I mean Barbie's just fun. It's great. It's just nice.
I just think, like you said, I think the way that they conveyed the message they were trying to do was very well done. I think it was very well done. And like the Oscar thing, I think I remember they got 8 nominations for the Oscars, and 2. So Greta Gerwig didn't get a nomination for Best Director.
Nope.
Don't think Margot Robbie got one for.
She didn't.
She didn't.
No, it was Ryan Gosling.
It was just Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling and it was for literally the one sonnet in the entire film, which is supposed to be taking the piss out of the whole message, and that's the one thing that got nominated.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like I remember watching.
But it's catchy.
But did you see
Did
you see the interview of
It's literally me.
What's her name? Sorry.
I know you mean about the old men.
No, but like Margaret Robbie.
Oh, Margaret Robbie.
She isn't disappointed. Obviously she is disappointed she didn't get nominated. I think if you're in the running and you don't get it, it's always going to be quite a thing. But she didn't. I think she said in the interview she didn't particularly mind because the film still made a cultural impact.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like
I understand.
I'm going to say this now before we get into like the rest of the Oscars. I don't think they matter. Because
I think
like, the Oscars at the end is just like a circle jerk of like the higher ups in the media industry.
Just
like it. You know, unfortunately, a lot of people kind of didn't get the nominations they deserved, but culturally the film did very well, and I think it was the most successful, highest grossing film of the year. So they probably Oscars.
I'd take that over an Oscar.
Yeah, literally. Like, if you had the impact
do you want
that you
actual
wanted
statistics, or do you want this award that's given? It's
really
biased.
And the cultural impact is just a lot of people loved it. A lot of people learned from it, and then like they made a good film that's going to be look back on positively. Thankfully, it's not because they could have easily made the film just dog shit with the Barbie name on it. Absolutely, just like like Transformers, where they're clearly just trying to sell toys.
It could just become a cliche fodder. Very easily.
And they took the brand and obviously looked at the history of the brand and made it something special. So they didn't get an Oscar, but I think
what they actually got from it is better.
Yes.
Cool. Do you want to do films like you said, like individual? Either things you've seen from last year or early this year that you've recently watched, whatever, that you really enjoyed watching. If you've seen.
Does it have to be films though? Because I've watched a few series.
If you watch series, if you want to do series.
I think there's 3 films that I particularly liked. I tried to narrow it down so it wasn't just like like the popular films that came out. Obviously, I really liked One Life that came out tail end of 2023. Then I liked The Anatomy of a Fall and Nimona. I think those are probably like my top 3 films from 2023.
Okay, that's cool.
Like they're all Anatomy of a Fall I think is based on a true story. Then One Life definitely is, and then Nimona's a queer animated film.
Okay.
With a non-binary protagonist, which you don't see very often. It was originally going to be produced by Disney, but they ended up canning it. But thankfully, the studio managed to get funding from Netflix, which saved it. So the fact that it released this year is really nice. I think those 3 are definitely my favourite films from this year.
What do you think, Todd?
Well, last year I only saw 2 films. So Oppenheimer being one of them, which I've briefly discussed anyway. The second one being Ferrari. I think Ferrari is a really good film. Adam Driver plays Enzo Ferrari particularly well. There's certain things about the film where I'm like,
what's going on here?
What the hell?
Yeah. I knew exactly the scene. The bit in the middle. I was like, what the hell? It's just gone from like a historic, really cool film, and then everyone's dead. And I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. I would obviously as much as me being I'm basically a car person, but I'm not particularly like big on Ferrari, if that makes sense.
How dare you?
So like not through any hatred. It's just Ferraris just don't particularly interest me as much as other brands.
Entitled to your own opinion.
No,
Again, it's wrong.
Yeah, true. It's just more the fact I didn't know the history about Enzo.
Okay.
So it was more obviously it was a bit more scandalous than what was like I was aware of. Obviously he had a wife and a mistress, but still had 2 kids, and this debate about whether he was unfaithful and and obviously Ferraris, the Ferraris of that era, multiple of them, have been involved in accidents, killing drivers, killing.
Yeah, it became a big thing.
Yeah, that took me by surprise. But overall, good film.
I'm gonna go off of what you said, Ferrari. I loved it only because I'm a massive Ferrari fan, like F1 wise, and just I like Ferraris in general. I think that Adam Driver played Enzo Ferrari really well.
That's the main reason why I'm interested in the film.
Yeah, like more than I thought.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard really good things.
So good. Like I can't explain it. Like it just didn't seem like Adam Driver. It was so good. I think it was interesting because obviously I know the whole like history of Ferrari is. I'm a big F1 fan, but it was more based on Le Mans than it was F1.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that side of it, even though I do like Le Mans. It's interesting to see that side. 2 films I saw recently. I saw All of the Strangers. Cinematically, like cinematography, best film I've seen in the last year. It was amazing. Loved it. The storyline, however, I was so confused all the way through it. Looked nice, didn't make any sense. And I think it's one of those films you'd have to watch it a couple times to fully understand it.
Okay.
And then I also recently watched Poor Things, which Emma Stone has been nominated for. And
I've seen clips of that.
That's one thing I want to watch.
That is the best performance I've ever seen her doing anything.
Really?
Incredible. Like,
Isn't Mark Ruffalo in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the most, like, I think that's more, like, messed up than Saltburn is.
Yeah, when I was watching, when I went to go watch One Life, that's one of the trailers I played. That's one of the films I'm interested in. I need to watch that.
It was like, it wasn't a shock factor as well, like the bathtub scene. It was just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why have you done this? Like, they have some pets. One of their pets is a goose with a chicken head, and then it's like a dog, and they slaps it in half, and it's got like a man's head on that instead.
What?
It's so weird.
I did not realize it was that sort of
So
movie.
she
Yeah,
plays
it's
a
got, like,
character
body
called
horror.
Bella Baxter.
Oh, okay.
And he basically is like a scientist, and he basically finds her as dead, and she's pregnant when he finds her. So he takes the baby out of her, cuts her head open, and swaps their brains around. So she's now a child living in an adult's body.
Oh shit.
And she basically escapes and goes to Paris and travels the world with Mark Ruffalo's character.
Yeah.
And they basically just have sex all the time. But she's learning like how to be a human, be like an adult. And it's just weird, but it's really, really cool.
I mean, some concepts.
Yeah.
It's so messed up, but it just works for some reason.
We
I
watched
do
very different
kinda- I
films.
wanna
Yeah. I
watch
didn't
that
even
now.
thought summarize my films.
Yeah, it's so good. But go on, Skadoodle.
I mean, you've watched so many more though.
Oh,
How many
watched
films
like
did you watch
800,
last
didn't you?
year? Go on.
last year I watched just under 850 films.
Yeah.
Say
I
a
think
few more then. You
hold
said
on, I'll
like
show my
3.
laptop. I think
How many other films do you watch then that you enjoyed?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously in cinemas I didn't watch 850 films. I watched 850
Yeah.
films because I was obsessed with Letterboxd last year.
yeah. So
But I either rewatched loads of things, but I had this section where I, like in summer, I had nothing to do all summer. So I'd pick a director that I wanted to like, and I just watched every single film they'd ever made. And I'd do it for each person. And now I'm obsessed with David Fincher and Christopher Nolan.
yeah, see, that's what I was doing with Letterboxd. The only reason it slowed down was because uni started again. But
But I just love it.
I made it a thing where I was going to watch a new film every day, and it's been fun.
Yeah,
It's really
I
good.
like
And
doing
then
stuff like that.
that's when we were going to bring films for this, like what we watched in 2023. That's why I try to keep it strictly to 2023 releases. Because if we went about what films we've watched in 2023, there's quite.
That's what I mean.
See, I've not watched a lot of new shit. That's the only problem. Last year was a busy year for me.
It's about shows.
Hey.
It's about like TV shows.
Yeah. So the TV show that I watched, I thought was brilliant, which had an actor we mentioned before, Jeremy Allen White. It's called The Bear.
Oh, The Bear.
That's something I need to watch.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, basically about this fucking amazing chef whose brother passes away, who owned like a sandwich shop in New York, and he had to go back and then take over it. And it's basically just the story of that and the stresses of just New York sandwich restaurant and stuff, and how they wanted to make it better and improve it. And it was just brilliant. The pacing took me a while to get used to because it was so fast paced straight away, and it didn't stop. So it takes a while to sort of get your head around, okay, so this is the speed we're going at. But once you sort of get that, it's like
Welcome to working in the kitchen. Every episode is just like this was like working in the kitchen.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's the only really new thing I watched last year. I did rewatch John Wick recently.
Yeah, it's John Wick.
It's an action movie. It's just an action
he plays the same. He's another one who plays the same character in every film.
Yeah. But
I wanna see it.
it's just I was shocked because I
Keanu
heard
Reeves.
such good things about John Wick. I watched it and I'm like,
Yeah. Well, the cinematography and the choreography of the action's cool, but like if you actually watch it for a plot,
yeah,
a
but
film,
it's just
yeah, it's a bit-
action.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it for me. I'm a bit boring with the films from last year, but
Guillaume.
I mean, most of what I've watched has been mentioned. Obviously, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Wonka, Saltburn. But we've gone surprisingly Marvel free with Ollie on a podcast here.
That's
So
very true.
do you know
That's true.
what?
Guardians of the Galaxy 3 have
God, why didn't
some
that-
opinions.
Guardians of the Galaxy
Okay,
3.
yeah, well,
Oh, bloody
opinions.
I think
Spider-Verse
that
came
is-
out last year.
Spider-
What do you mean?
That is the second best
You've lost your
they've
chance, I'm
released
sorry,
since
sir.
Endgame. But I think the emotional story of it very much is affected by whether you saw it in cinema or out of cinema.
I watched it out.
After a few technical difficulties, we have returned. We are going to talk about last year's film sale, but more specifically about Marvel.
Yes.
I think
we
a
didn't
lot.
mention
We did not
anything.
mention anything Marvel.
And
A lot
Not
of-
on an Ollie Bailey podcast.
That's very
not
good.
happening.
That's very, very true. It can't
We
happen.
have standards.
There's so many TV shows that came out last year that were all dog shit apart from one, being Loki. Loki was incredible.
Loki was brilliant.
Never watched that.
I don't know how you dare. Loki was amazing. She-Hulk was an absolute laughing stock.
But
I
Megan
mean,
Thee
with-
Stallion.
No.
Oh my!
They
But
did-
she
What an
danced with
ending.
Megan
They
the
did-
Stallion.
they-
Megan the
they
Stallion
did- they did-
twerked in her office.
They did the funny internet dance.
Funny internet dance, yay.
Appeals to the kids.
She-Hulk was like far better than like other
She-Hulk
legal
got
shows,
with
like Better Call
Daredevil.
Saul.
Yay.
Why do I feel like I've had this conversation before?
Because you have.
Yeah.
You live with
Yeah,
Ollie.
'cause I was probably like
Tom,
3 times.
you
a
live with
day or
Ollie.
two.
Of course you've had the same
She-Hulk has made an
conversation.
appearance.
Oh, look at the green screen go.
The green.
Get like really bad like deja vu. I don't know why.
Deja vu.
Yeah.
Dave.
But yeah, She-Hulk is shit.
Like this show.
Loki was good. What else last year? I mean, Across the Spider-Verse is not technically Marvel, however, Spider-Man,
It is incredible.
brilliant film.
Incredible. I cannot wait for this year's.
Better than the first
This, no,
one? No.
this first one's by far better.
I think it's
Um,
okay. I think it preyed on nostalgia a bit too much, but obviously that's the whole point of the film.
Yeah.
I think the way that they introduced the villain in the second one is really good. Like Spot.
I loved the villain.
It's so
Villain.
the bagel.
The bagel, yeah.
There's one bagel course an entire film. It was great. But I love how the second film is going to get continued in the third.
Mhm.
But the first one was just a film. This
See,
is a part.
A lot of people, even though they made clear from the get-go that it's going to be a part 1 and part 2 for movie 2 and 3,
Yeah.
people are still mad that the ending wasn't a proper ending.
Yeah, but
I feel like
hmm,
that's unjust. Like they've said from the
there's-
get-go,
that is
that
going to be like
it's, you know, there's going to be a part 2. So expect it's not maybe have the best ending, because it is partly a setup movie. However, yeah, it was a good movie in itself. It was partly a setup movie.
I think there's a lot of pressure on this though.
Oh god.
The first and the second one like are liked by so many people, and it's got such like good hype behind it that if the third one flops, it'll affect the other two.
Mm-hmm.
I think it needs to have like an amazing like finish that you're not going to expect.
Yeah. Back to Marvel. So there was also Black Panther at
Panther?
the start of the year.
Yeah.
Completely forgot
I,
about
I
that.
really
I
like
thought that was ages ago.
Yeah, Black Panther 2.
You saw that, didn't you?
I did. I
Yeah.
saw that.
So
I think biggest letdown of the year from Marvel was Ant-Man 3.
Oh yeah, Quantum Mania. Jesus.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
nothing.
at the
Jeez.
start,
God, the
I
MCU
thought they-
is a sad
Oh, yeah.
state
Jesus.
currently.
I thought they really
That's why
were
it's so
starting
shit, I
to
don't
set
care.
up quite a good plot between Rose and the Wasp,
Yeah.
and then they just completely abandon it
That's
into
very
the
true.
second half of the film.
It's like no.
Also, what? Sorry, I completely forgot this. Who's the big head guy?
MODOK.
MODOK.
What is that?
What is that?
MODOK.
That
was
is the
interesting.
Yeah,
correct
Marvel
question.
MCU CGI has not been hot.
Not just that, just the whole lore behind him as well.
Yeah,
what it
imagine-
actually did to him.
MODOK's such a weird character in general.
Imagine
What's that?
MODOK and
Oh,
She-Hulk
right.
in the same scene.
Was Love and Thunder out last year? That was dog shit.
Was that last year?
Was that the year before?
I can't remember. I think
Everything's
I
kind
can't
of
remember. That
blurring
wasn't
now.
great.
I think that was the year before.
Everything's like blurring.
So,
now.
but you said it was quite good. The Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
I thought it pieced together things quite well.
I thought the fact that they then sort of, oh, he has a son, by the way.
Oh no way.
Oh, he's got the same name, by the way. I just thought, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
It
of
was-
course, Chadwick Boseman, R.I.P. He's
Yeah,
brilliant.
Brilliant.
But the writers, man, you could have done better than that.
You could have done better.
I watched the movie in the cinema as well. I thought it was a really like visually dark movie. Like some of the scenes, like where it showed just like open ocean water in like nighttime, I couldn't see what the fuck was on the screen.
Hmm.
And you know, something like Marvel, they're known for like colors, lots of colors.
Yeah.
It felt like it was like, lacking it in that
Yeah,
movie.
it didn't feel like that Marvel.
Yeah.
Film. Okay.
And yeah, Namor was alright.
It was alright. Boots were weird.
Yeah.
I quite like the way it fits into current MCU though.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of current MCU, yeah, you're right. It did. Yeah, it fit really well.
I think another film that came out last year. I don't know your opinions on it. I think the best film to come out since Endgame, Guardians 3.
As I said in the previous take.
Guardians 3, incredible film.
It's
That's gonna be the last
Guardians
MCU
3
film I ever watch.
Yo.
It was flipping boring.
No,
man.
it was not.
It was.
I think
You don't appreciate Guardians of the Galaxy then.
No, I think
Me, who's only watched Black Panther 2.
Yeah,
I-
literally.
I said it in my review. I think when they try and actually explore like the emotional depth of like Rocket and stuff in Guardians 3, they do it really well. But fucking hell, can they please stop undercutting every single emotional scene with a shit cutaway joke or like a clip?
Thank you.
It's like
It's
Right,
family.
Every
I get
time.
the trilogy. It's got comedic aspects to it. It's quite a comedic trilogy.
It's kind of
However,
natural with those characters.
They took the piss with it. Also, the first F-bomb in Marvel was completely unnecessary. Open
I
the
mean,
fucking door. It wasn't funny. It seemed like, on set after a few takes,
I agree with
him
that statement.
saying, "Open the fucking door." That is funny.
Yeah, I mean,
but to us watching it,
It
I
just
just
feels
thought
a bit like, oh, I should
it was
again.
unnecessary.
Haha, we're Marvel, we're swearing.
oh my
he
god,
literally
that's
could
why I
have
word in my
they,
Marvel films.
like they've done another ones, just say open the freaking door. It would have had the same effect.
I think like you said about the comedic effect, I disagree with that. I think the whole point of Guardians is that it's supposed to like be in your face.
I
It's supposed to
understand
be
that.
like funny all
I
the
just
time.
feel like it was too much. One had it perfect.
One is the best of
Yeah,
all.
one-
I think
One,
it's
3, 2.
the best trilogy of any Marvel.
Oh, by far.
You can
franchise,
take
so-
away
by
that
far.
trilogy from the MCU and it'd be completely fine.
It's not the best trilogy in Marvel
on.
though, because that is the Captain America.
That's
This
not-
Joker.
What do you mean this
Actually, you know
Joker?
what? Actually, hold
Captain
on, hold
America,
on,
First
hold on.
Avenger.
Actually,
One
hold
of
on,
the
Scott.
fucking
Scott,
most-
save it for your hot take. Save it for your hot take.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm gonna say
gonna-
Iron Man.
save that for later.
Best Marvel trilogy.
Captain America, that's funny. Oh, shit.
Shut your fucking
Someone put on
mouth.
Instagram best Marvel trilogy for
Yeah,
next
Guardians of
week.
the
Someone on
Galaxy,
Instagram, please
Captain America.
repost the fact that Back to the Future is
Right.
still the worst
Okay.
movie
We'll
trilogy ever
leave that.
made.
Sorry. We'll leave that for hot takes then, I guess. What the fuck?
Let's do hot takes now,
Oh,
Okay.
and then we'll go
I
into
cooked up a
some
paragraph.
questions.
Whoops.
All right. So in that case, what is it about the Captain America that you don't like then?
Which one? All three?
Well, the fact that he's a boring character.
First one, thank you. He's the most overrated character in the entire Marvel, not even MCU characters. By far overrated. He's a man who's a bit strong and he's got a flag in his chest for his country.
And he's a
No,
knob.
thing is though, when you can, I think I disagree with that a little bit because I think in the historical context and when he was written, he's a very important character. But as a
Well, when he was written,
Yeah,
yes, but in
but-
terms of like our age now, if we watch it,
yeah, how he is now.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, thank you. Woo. No, he
literally
just
a
is
great
like
character.
the Iron Man, for example.
Yeah.
Is a character that you technically should hate. He's the most arrogant person ever. However, he's so cool because he makes his own thing. Like he makes something and becomes something else. He's literally just, oh, I've got a syringe in me and now I'm strong and I wasn't strong before.
I
can
When
do
you
a
explain it like that, of course it's going to sound shit though.
yeah.
What is it? What? So the first film, the first Avenger, I don't mind. It's
Brilliant.
good. Second one, I can't remember what it's called now. It's a Civil War.
Civil War.
No,
Civil
no.
War.
Yeah,
That's
no,
not
it's
the
not.
Christ,
Winter
it's
Soldier,
Winter
then.
Soldier.
Winter
Winter Soldier, amazing.
Come on.
I'm not agree with Winter Soldier is amazing.
I don't see Civil War as so much a Captain America film.
It's not,
No,
but it's technically.
Civil War had
It's
so
a bit
much
like an
untapped
Avengers
potential.
Plus, if you get what I mean.
I agree with that. I think Civil War had so much potential and it just didn't meet it at all. At all. Nowhere
What
near.
My
do you
hot take
mean?
actually
No.
might be fine here. I might not
No.
get good
What
for
do
this.
you mean?
I don't think it met anywhere
How?
near the potential. It was just
what
like
was the potential?
that. It was
Have you
like,
played
oh,
the Civil War
finally, like,
games
these two
and the
characters who have
comics?
been like for so long going to have like a go at each other, and they finally get to this point where he's found out the truth about his past and what he's done to him, and then they have a little scrap, and then it's gone, and then they're fine again in the rest of the films.
I mean, it's more. It's
It wasn't
like
a little scrap.
they could have explored individual characters more and what
Yeah.
they're fighting for, but they just
They didn't.
don't.
Oh, you killed my parents, and you did this, and well,
Tit
he's
for
my
tat,
friend,
really,
so I'm
isn't
going
it?
to take
Yeah.
his side.
Yeah.
What?
It just seems like a year 6 argument, but in
No.
Yeah, and then they kiss and make up.
yeah, it's just a bit of we
Yeah.
broke up. It's like a boy band.
I
Who was right?
disagree. Hey?
In
was-
Civil
I'm not
War,
saying
Cap,
Civil
it
War
was
was bad.
Cap
it still
was
wasn't a
right.
interesting
Cap
one.
was right.
Cuff was right. I'll agree with that.
Have you ever played like the Civil War games? They're great. I actually get to pick a side and fight for it. It's really good.
Yeah. No, so, Cap was right. Another
Uh,
reason to like his character.
I mean, yeah, Iron Man in that argument is a bit of a rat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I choose the side of the government.
Any
hot
other hot
takes.
takes?
I prefer Marvel to DC. However, I do still like DC, and I think the best DC film is Man of Steel.
Okay.
Man of Steel.
Okay.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel,
Really?
by far.
Oh, not Batman versus Superman.
No,
Oh, Orphan Fight.
absolute dog shit. Hate it.
Why Man of Steel?
I just remember.
I
saying
just
that.
love that, like how they looked at Zod more than Superman.
Oh yeah, in the Zod
Yeah.
how they portrayed Zod. Yeah, I
like
completely
I
agree
think
with that.
Henry Cavill as Superman is the perfect casting, but I think
The script
Zod-
was dog.
I agree that it was questionable, but I just think like the fighting scenes and Zod in general is incredible. I love Zod in that film.
I think if you put Henry Cavill in a Superman script where he's actually Superman,
Yeah,
it could cook. But
yeah.
like, yeah, no.
I think he needs to play the role again.
Yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of DC. I feel like they could do the characters so much better than they have.
I agree. I think with me and Marvel and DC, when I compare, I always see Marvel heroes better and DC villains better than Marvel.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Like, I am obsessed with the Joker. I love the character of the Joker. But
there's some terrible adaptations of the Joker.
Yeah, but there's some
amazing ones.
There's some. It depends on who it is and what it's in. Like the animated series of Batman is better than half of
It's better than sex.
The animated series of Batman is better than half of the TV shows of Marvel combined.
Ridiculous.
It's so good. It's so good.
I think I should maybe do mine next because it's cinematic.
Go on.
Sorry for the audience, by the way.
Sorry for the next half an hour.
Yeah. Okay, right. Preface. I'm the one who dislikes the MCU the most. I don't hate it. Obviously, I've had fun.
I would say so. I mean, Billy, you rewatched.
I just don't like it, but
you're not a fan,
right?
No.
Yeah.
So, cinematic universes have overall been a net negative for comic-based films. The writing quality for these films has seen a notable decrease in quality over time. However, I'd argue it's never been that high to begin with. A vast majority of characters are underdeveloped because there's just so many of them that they're fighting for screen time. And finally, due to a lot of these films being produced at such a fast rate and around similar times, there's so many inconsistencies in these cinematic universes. It just seems amateurish half the time. Also, Justice for Hulk because it completely character assassinated him.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Justice for Hulk.
I agree with Hulk.
So I agree with part of what you said, not all of it. I feel like the MCU is dog shit now. It's dog shit.
Yeah.
Writing terrible. Like you said, they're producing stuff.
Very much quantity over quality.
That's why I think it's an overall net negative.
Especially in the recent, probably last phase and a half, I'd say.
Just money grabs.
Yeah. However, what I disagree with is the writing up to the point of
it was never hard to begin with. It's like
Endgame is probably obviously you've got No Way Home and stuff. You could argue is good. You have the odd good ones in the mix with the new phase. However, I feel like the majority of the first couple phases, the writing was good.
I agree.
It's just now when they're doing quantity of quality.
Gone so down.
Yeah.
My issue with the MCU primarily is because since they're clearly going for an audience of everyone, they very much like to change their characters and how they write them because they don't want to portray certain things, or they have these amazing comics that are so deep in lore and really interesting storylines like Planet Hulk. There's the what was the villain called in Love and Thunder again?
God Butcher.
Yeah, he had multiple comics deeper characters and they use them for one film. I just think if not exactly stick to the comics more, I feel like if they took more from them, took more inspiration, and maybe took the entire thing a bit slower, they could have built up and then made Endgame more satisfying, and then maybe have a better plan for what comes after. Because I feel like there was so much untapped potential in the earlier side of the MCU, and unfortunately, we're probably never going to see that potential now because the time has passed.
Yeah.
And now
I do understand that
because that potential wasn't tapped, and we're in this really depressive state.
Terrible,
where it's
going to be. I agree with that, but I think it's also going to be interesting to see because they want to recreate Endgame again in the sense of Secret War.
That build up to it.
Yeah, the build up to it again. So this year is where I think that's going to start with Deadpool. So there's been a massive thing with the MCU and was outside of it for a long time. So X-Men has been not in the MCU for ages.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. So and now that Deadpool is going to be with Wolverine, they're essentially going to create a multiverse in itself because they're going to finally bring the MCU and X-Men together, and that's going to lead the way for in the future when they do the other Avengers films.
Fantastic Four. Pedro Pascal.
So I'm really excited for Secret War, but I think the only way I will be excited for it is if everything they do up to it is more in depth with each of the characters.
Yeah,
I think it needs to be.
And 2 points I just want to focus on as well is that when I say net negative, I don't mean just for MCU. I mean film industry as a whole, because DC tried it, shat the bed. Transformers are trying to do it with G.I. Joe. That's going to shit the bed.
Yeah.
I really
Transformers need to stop. What are you doing?
I really think other companies should really just stop trying to chase this trend now because it's just fucking annoying. I feel like
it's just money grabs. It's all money grabs.
DC have finally kind of caught on now with the Batman and stuff like that.
James Gunn coming in. I'm looking forward to that.
Do you know the director of Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Yeah.
And then my final point Fucking hell, they didn't have to write the Hulk that badly.
No.
But yeah,
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a shame.
when I saw Hulk getting a Hulkbuster without being Hulk, I actually went to
That's
throw.
CGI for that as well.
It's
The
so
floating
bad.
head.
It's just a floating head in some like black. Like, do you want to recreate it right now? Put your green around.
You could have given me the whole Planet Hulk, like the Planet Hulk storyline, but no, you turned him into like a complete like
I would
control his
She-Hulk.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got a son.
God.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, he has a son in Planet Hulk, but obviously now
it's just
there's no Planet
Is his
Hulk.
son
It's just like,
Scar?
oh yeah, it's just a thing.
it's just
So,
randomly
hasn't
being
he got
introduced.
he's got a daughter there as well, isn't he? To that TV series.
No, that's the son.
That's the son.
That's
Yeah,
so-
that's
Yeah.
the
So
son's
his
Scar.
son's Scar.
Yeah.
And then there's also like there's different variations of the Hulk. So like there's Red Hulk.
Yeah.
There's loads of different ones. That's what Planet Hulk's for.
Mhm.
Right.
Like Planet Hulk was amazing,
Yeah.
but the fact that like we're never going to get anything like that is just so
Yeah.
upsetting, bro.
I think the non-MCU Hulk was more interesting when like did the Abomination thing.
Yeah.
God, that CGI was something back in
Yeah.
the day.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, it was
I
interesting.
can let that slide.
Yeah, but like I think Mark Ruffalo casted as Bruce Banner is amazing.
Yes.
They just did him dirty with how they wrote it in Endgame
Yes.
and Infinity War.
Yeah, he was a really good Bruce Banner. It's just more of the facts. I think it's because they didn't want to show like the anger side of it. They really didn't want to explore that, so they
Yeah.
just kind of cut him off, which is just really upsetting.
I feel like he could have had more potential when he like fights Thanos as well, right at the beginning.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he should have like battered him and then got like thinking like
Yeah, it
One
was-
thing-
it was just like he
sorry.
bitch
It was
slapped
a
him
thing,
and
but they scrapped it,
yeah, I don't
which
get
is
it.
just
Can I
One-
throw something in about MCU or just
Yeah.
cinematic universes? When you're out of ideas, just throw in the multiverse.
yeah. Can we start with the multiverse thing, please?
Literally.
Hate it.
What's anyone else's hot takes if you've got any?
Well, my initial hot take sort of, you've sort of touched on it, but DC characters are so much better developed than Marvel or any cinematic universe
yeah.
characters.
They have, like,
And I don't think
story
it's really.
behind
Is this
that
purely in
close.
cinematic universes?
Just in general.
Oh, because I think DC and Marvel are very neck and neck when it comes to quality in the comics and how their characters are.
Hmm.
I think it's just personal
I
preference.
think since it's gone into cinema, the
Yeah.
way DC develop their heroes, and I
Yeah.
think that comes from a lot of Batman villains genuinely just being written as psychopaths and
Yeah,
the
sort
best.
of real people
You can
from the
write
art.
so much
gallery.
depth about them.
Yeah,
so-
there's a lot more depth, and I think the comics sort of maybe give that more ground to develop on. But
Hmm.
Arkham Asylum, they're all just psychopaths.
Yeah.
And I think I just quite like the psychological side to DC a bit more.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's why I
so-
think like with Suicide Squad, they could have done that so much more.
Yeah.
Like the characters they used for was like Deadshot. I feel like he could have been such more like a well-written character, and then like, oh, I'm a leader, yay!
Yeah.
No, I want to kill everyone. So I think it depends. Also, the second one's better than the first.
I mean, yeah, DC kind of do have some stinkers. Like there's
Mm.
Aquaman, and then one of the Wonder Woman films was a stinker. Then the other one was quite good, actually.
first one was
Batman
good.
versus
Then the other one
Superman.
was a stinker, wasn't it? The second one was a stinker. Or
Yeah,
was it the first
the
one?
the
Yeah.
first one was good.
Okay.
I still find it weird that the only like DC films I've watched was the Batman trilogy with Christian Bale, but then I had like a Batman
What you saying?
and a Superman, Man of Steel.
Yeah, I think you just never
uh,
watched it.
Oh, yeah.
and never watched it.
I mean, let's also not forget the absolute stinker of the Flash film that came out.
Oh,
Oh, my
don't
god,
start. Oh, what do we think about Zack Snyder's Justice League?
dog ass. I'm not
I
gonna
Thank
lie.
didn't
you.
watch it.
Absolutely, like you didn't know. Why did you make a director's cut when the film you made in the first place was shit? I don't get it.
I just feel
Here's
like
what you could have had, but
It's what you could have had. It was even worse than when you
They
tried
were
to do it
just-
the first time.
they were just trying to get the whole like, oh guys, look, we made all of our film characters unite, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean,
what
you
was
cinematic-
the accent?
I don't know, nerd voice.
Any other hot takes you have on Billiam?
No, I'm just sticking with the Back to the Future one.
Do you want to expand even
Sticking-
further?
No, I've made my point.
He knows he's gonna get cooked.
That's
In
fair.
terms of
you not
with
get
MCU, how come you're not a fan of the MCU?
Well, so I watched it with you because I haven't watched all of them. So I kind of did the thing with Scott where I watched it with him, and first Captain America, all right, and it just kind of seemed like all of them were just all right. Some of them did stand out, and that was kind of a bit nice. But then it's kind of like you get to like the first Avengers film, which I think was like 2012,
Yeah.
and then you kind of get like a plateau of
Yeah.
like just bang average films. Some of them do dip where they're a bit shit.
I know one thing you
so-
hated was any time the Avengers theme came on.
Oh,
His eyes rolled and he just
Really?
But
This
then
is me in the
like,
background, like
just like there's just like Endgame and Infinity War. Was like okay, that's they've clearly put more time and effort into this, and the Guardians of the Galaxy is obviously probably the best outcome out of the whole MCU shenanigans.
Could you just repeat that, please?
I never said it was like outright terrible.
No,
they're good movies. They're just not.
No, but I agree with Scott because Guardians 1 is pretty good, and I can very happily rewatch that. Guardians 2 is like,
It's okay.
if I'm asked to watch that, I won't watch it on my own free will. But like,
Of my own free will.
Bro, it's just Disney Plus.
If it's like, we're putting on Guardians 2, I'm happy to watch that. Guardians 3, I'm like,
do we have to?
Nap time.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather not. But then,
that's how I feel.
Say Infinity War Endgame, it was like, okay, that's good. You've clearly put more time and effort into this because it's meant to be it's meant to be this granular scale thing. And like with you, Scott, watching it, it's just like, it's the thing where they're all going to come out of the holes and they're all just
The holes.
The holes. And I'm there going like, cool.
Yeah.
Was it sick? It was sick.
I just thought it was okay. Like it was just like it was doable.
On your left.
It was well executed.
That's
and then,
what I mean.
The bit at the end with Captain America who's on the bench, I'm like,
do you know what I think it is as well?
You look like Joe Biden.
I think if you sit down and you watch all of the films in whatever order, from release or chronological, from start to finish, if you imagine doing that of the length of time that I've watched them, like since I was a kid, watching that, and then I waited a year till the next film, and then a year to the next film, and I've always like, I can't wait to see what happens next. It's like when you read a book, you want to know what happens next.
Yeah, it builds
it. So then when it finally got to the last thing of Endgame, and I was like, oh my god, this makes so much sense.
You have to be there.
It was like an event. It's like I think with MCU, I think it's just with their villains. I feel like if they gave their villains more time to actually breathe and develop like their heroes, because fucking hell, Ultron had so much potential.
Ultron had so much
potential. Ultron was just
DreamWorks
robbed.
villains are like 10 times the villains anything the MCU's thrown at us.
The wolf,
the wolf
from Puss in Boots.
Oh,
the whistle.
Movie, brilliant.
Lord Farquaad.
Fairy godmother.
Fairy godmother. She'll have your
Prince Charming.
Should do questions.
Right.
If you could compare like the wolf from like the new Puss in Boots film to like fucking Mordok, Gordon, Dave, whoever he was.
Dave's gonna have
Derek.
Just trounced him in terms of.
That's true. The wolf is so good. If you get a question you've already read, just put some back, just skip it and go to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll do the last section now of today's podcast.
What's your favourite
I was gonna do another round of questions.
Oh my god. We've already done this one.
Okay, skip.
Good picking.
Yep.
The method doesn't work. It's been proven. Everyone say their top 5 films. Ooh. Can anyone do this on the spot?
I don't think I could on the spot.
I think
I feel like
I probably could.
Depends on what genre.
Favorite film.
Yeah. But I feel like that's going to have to be just something we'd have to.
I can do it.
Go on.
First one, I don't know if I watched it, and this is more of the film. Like in terms of films that my favorite film, and if I actually think it's good, it's completely different.
Yeah, that's
it's more like a comfort film.
Yeah.
So my favorite film of all time is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Then it's Inception. Then it's Into the Spider-Verse. Then it's Back to the Future 2. And then it's The Godfather.
You're telling me Hot Fuzz is not on that list?
No, but Shaun of the Dead is better than Hot Fuzz. So.
Nah.
Hot Fuzz is the best one.
Hot Fuzz is the best one. I agree with Brandon.
Cornetto trilogy.
Can I pull up my letterbox real quick, just so I can like have a look? Because like the top 5 is really hard to like.
I couldn't give like an accurate top 5. I'll list off a few movies that I like though. I mean, Harry Potter franchise as a whole. I know they're brilliant movies. Love them. Baby Driver. Love that movie. Baby Driver is so good.
Baby Driver is so good.
Grand Budapest Hotel, amazing.
Just Wes Anderson.
Yeah, Wes Anderson. What else? My mind's drawn a blank now.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Brendan?
Again, I can just sort of name a few, like Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think, is beautiful. It's the most Wes Anderson film. Big fan of Spider-Man 3 from Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
Honestly, this is so on the spot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like you have to like think about it.
Yeah.
What about you, Billiam?
So I only have 2 films that I've given 5 stars to.
Okay.
One is Schindler's List.
Okay.
Which I've put down as Refused to Not Cry. The second one is The Wrong Trousers.
Yes!
Not to please the crowd. Next one is Doctor Strangelove or Highland to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Superb film, love that. Pulp Fiction and Taxi Driver.
Pulp Fiction.
Wait, can I just
Pulp
say?
Fiction.
Actually,
Don't be a film bro.
Taxi Driver, but Pulp Fiction and Django will interchange with
Can
each
I?
other. At times.
I have
Django
another
as
hot
well.
take that's going to make you angry. I think Pulp Fiction is the most overrated film of all time.
Yeah, I agree.
Flat.
Fully
By
agree.
far.
Literally fully agree.
I remember watching it the first time, thinking, "What the fuck is going on? It's cool. Don't know what's happening." I watched it the second time and thought, "Oh, it's alright. I'm gonna watch it the second time. It'll be fine." Still no idea what was going on. The amount of times I watched Pulp Fiction and I'm
Oh
still like,
no,
what
it's
the fuck?
not got a linear narrative.
Wow.
I'm
But
confused.
that's the point.
Confused.
They're trying to be so like fucking
It's just
creative.
boring.
and it's just
This
not
is
as
not
good
me
as.
joining your side.
Right,
I'm
I got
just
my
saying,
top 5
bro,
anyway, so I'm fine. I got it now. All right.
I think it's really
I
cleverly
just think
written.
it's clearly written, but it's overrated massively.
I don't think it's overrated.
by far.
It's
You
a
got-
brilliant
I've
movie.
gonna throw Coraline into my.
Coraline's good.
Oh,
as well.
Coraline's
Yeah.
good.
Caroline's good.
Colin's better than Pulp Fiction. Go on.
All right, so Fantastic Mr. Fox is my favorite film as well because I watched it like family, like growing up and stuff like that. It's just a gorgeous film. Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Mhm.
my beloved
Mhm.
for horror films. Boiling Point,
Oh,
fucking amazing
I
film.
like Boiling Point.
The Pianist,
Yes.
and then Human Traffic.
Okay. That's very
That's
nice.
like-
Very nice.
I could name about 4 films.
And you're on a film
Film
podcast.
In your
I
film
can only name
podcast.
four
Hey. Hot Fuzz would be my top one, just because
That question.
the humour, how it's filmed, Edgar Wright.
Okay, right.
It's just a masterpiece, really. It's just
It is
not-
amazing.
not
Big guys,
cinematically,
very
but
good.
But
in
that's what
terms
it's
of
just amazing.
content, it's up there.
You watch it and
Yeah.
you know that it's like.
More than an angle.
Next is probably a controversial one. It's probably Too Fast, Too Furious. Because I know a lot of people don't like the Fast and Furious films.
Each their own.
Second one is probably my favourite. That's the one. Or Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift is probably the best one. Third one being. Ooh, trying to think now.
I can say Cars.
No. Third one being The Great Escape.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
film.
that's a good film. Yeah.
The bike scene with Steve McQueen. Spot on. Not entirely correct, but the whole plot of the film.
The plot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good film. I had another one. I can't remember. What. I was just gone.
Monster.
Gone.
No.
I know we've gone past the hot takes bit, but is this where I just butt in and say that I've only seen clips and only know about Fantastic Mr. Fox? I've
Great
not
film.
actually seen the
You
full
miss.
Fantastic
It's a not.
I
That
don't
want to
live in a hole anymore.
I know it's really easy to get, but I'm just
now.
kind of like.
American
Great film.
Psycho.
American Psycho.
That's
such
like
a-
one of the top films.
I
Well,
love that film. See,
Watch it.
I love that film, but I don't like saying it because it's such a film bro like film.
Yeah. I love American Psycho.
But I do have the book. The book is very
I've read
good.
the book,
The book's very good.
I love it. It's also.
I just love Christian Bale.
Have we done everyone's top
American
5? Are we missing anyone?
American
Doesn't
Psycho being like a passion
No, I
project
don't
as
think we
well.
have.
Yeah.
Got to. Next.
Go on,
Oh,
Todd.
mine's only that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've already read it, then click this side.
This is
That's
that.
really
What was it?
effective.
ASMR.
Yeah.
Just the mic.
Okay.
Go on.
Put them back in.
Oh, no. Don't even realise. Okay.
Charlie.
Most. I don't know if we've done this or not. The most
We've done that. Yeah,
done
over most overrated TV show.
Pulp Fiction.
Again.
Pulp Fiction.
You got a family guy if you can handle my Lois.
Which directors would you say have made multiple perfect films 5-star?
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Sergio Leone.
Edgar Wright. Quentin Tarantino.
No,
See,
I don't
I'm a
think-
Quentin Tarantino person.
I'm Christopher
Film.
Nolan person.
Sergio Leone, Alfred Hitchcock is my kind of two retro.
Okay.
Yeah,
takes.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like just
We
a
needed a bit
Sergio
more
Le-
retro in.
Like a Sergio Leone Western film is just like, and Clint Eastwood, like just the whole Dollars trilogy, like Fistful of
Yeah.
Dollars, a few dollars more, and Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I do like.
Yeah.
I love
Mm.
The Good, the Ugly.
Also watching it, I did get kind of confused watching it the first time because they do reuse. Obviously, Clint Eastwood is like the same character throughout 3
Yeah.
films, but they do also reuse actors for different roles.
Oh, right.
Like I think the same actors used is like a brother who's clearly the same actor as like the first film.
Mm.
I think it's in the first and third film. It's the same actor but different. Like they're meant to be brothers, but it's
Ah.
not
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it's clearly the same actor.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it is. I think I believe. Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, and then Alfred Hitchcock just because of
Yeah.
kind of the whole pioneering of
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
cinema.
The name alone.
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin as well. If you
Charlie
put
Cha- yeah,
down,
it's
if
like
you put
the
him down
actor.
as a director as well.
Yeah.
I think that affected, like, because I do drama and acting. Charlie Chaplin affected not just film, but like theatre as well.
Mhm.
It is
The whole
like-
culture.
Yeah,
around
just the
it.
culture of him.
Yeah.
Do you wanna, did you just read yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was quite a
Awesome.
quick round, that.
Yeah, I know.
Buster Keaton as well. but I don't think I'm so- 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 Buster Keaton.
Who's that?
John Pastor, the
Same
bad one.
silent filmmaker, same with same time.
What is a shot you wish to try and recreate yourself?
The zoom on Brandon for our second year short film.
Oh yeah, I get that.
There's not a particular one that I want to like recreate. However, we did one for your film, which I am obsessed with. It's just a total Wes Anderson type shot. It was in a train station. We had Ollie coming up the stairs on this side, perfectly on this side of the frame. And
York Station for anyone that's been.
Sorry, York Station.
Train stations.
3.
Platform 3.
Yeah,
there we go.
and then there was 3 seats right at this end here, and we just have a still shot of him walking up the stairs,
so
moving along to the side, and then sitting on the chair right at the end of the other side of the frame. And
it was the timing of like the tannoy.
The timing of the tannoy just perfectly in between whilst he's walking.
It was so
the lighting was very Wes Anderson as well. It was just mwah.
When we did try to recreate it, because we tried recreating it for my directing project. Yeah. We did 2 takes, and the first take was kind of like those 2 came together as just a random thing, and there was a white pole thing, and that was where they were meeting in the middle. And like the first take, obviously you 2 were meeting there, and it was fine. But I said, I know it's cold because it was like what, 0 degrees, probably even lower, and like Josh was wearing
a t-shirt.
Just a single t-shirt. Meanwhile, you're like got like 3 or 4 layers. But when we said, can I do second take? Can you try and match your like walking together at the pole? So they did it for the second take, and they did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Where both of them, the distance to the pole is like exactly the same. But but the one that I personally want to recreate, because I tried recreating it in college and failed quite miserably, is the dolly zoom. Not exactly the same one in like Jaws where it's on the beach and stuff, but like in general, I want to try and recreate that shot, and like
it's just such a cool shot, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and also it's something that Steven Spielberg will like shout on, like we'll shout and be like, "It's my shot actually," but it wasn't. It was the guy that also was camera operator. But dolly zoom is something that I'd love to.
It'd be really cool to do dolly zoom. I don't know about like major films, but 2 of my friends who are in my course, Hannah and Amelia, they made a film last year called In the Meadows. It's like a really short film, and it's just like aesthetically pleasing. It's very heavy cinematography, and there's one scene where it's just like there's a river and there's some trees, and the trees and where they're stood perfectly frames the entire thing, and it just looks like gorgeous. And I really want to recreate that, and I think it'd be so cool to do a shot like that where everything's just like framed perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think of like a specific shot.
Yeah, I can't think of anything specific.
Or is there like a style maybe?
Style, probably like Wes Anderson. Like, because the things are like, because when it comes like obviously when in film production you choose a specific role. I love cinematography and I'd love to like work with it and stuff like that. But I'm an editor, so like I like thinking of like use of color, different edits and
sort of ambience. Like,
So it's like to be fair, one shot I do love is the whole Inception where when he's in the hallway and while rotating around, like the set design where he's just running, like stuff like that. Just really like technically advanced ones. Really, anything that can really like emphasize what you're trying to get across. Because thinking of like one specific shot is really hard.
No, it is difficult from the top of your head.
You go for yours.
Who is someone you would like to play a character, and what character?
As in, like, who'd cast for the character?
Yes.
Does it have to be a film character specifically, or maybe from something that doesn't have a film yet?
I think anything.
You can just do anything.
Yeah, okay.
Just, any character of note you think would just suit an actor perfectly.
There was one I thought for but I'm too sure now. Oh, I was
Willem
about to
Dafoe
fucking
the Joker. Yes.
I was about to say Willem Dafoe and Joker. For God's sake.
Yeah. Well, you got there first.
I can kind of see that, but I don't know.
I think he's talked about it as well.
He's too old now.
That's what I mean. That's
no,
why
there are
older
versions of the Joker though.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you can do Willem Dafoe as like the Dark Knight Return. What's the comic where it's Batman coming out of retirement and the Joker's reformed?
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe could play that Joker.
That'd be cool.
I mean, like, I know he's either Wired or something. I mean, he was like one of those like most searched Google things.
Yeah.
And it said like, will Willem Dafoe play the Joker? I said it's a nice idea, and just kept it at that and moved on.
Yeah.
I think it's sort of more of a tease than anything, but I think he's just like any film he's in, it's instantly just enjoyable. Like The Lighthouse is superb.
Still haven't watched that. I really want to.
He's just a
It's
rounded
brilliant.
actor.
He may be too young, but Adam Driver, Severus Snape.
Ooh.
Only if
Okay,
he
I
can
see
do a
that.
British accent.
Yeah.
If he can't do a
Yeah.
British accent, then it's
He
ruined.
did a very good Italian accent for
Did he?
Ferrari.
Well, he did one for Gucci as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
He
for
was
Gucci,
in
Yeah.
House
House
of
of Gucci.
Gucci.
But yeah, if he could do a good British accent, then yes, I completely agree.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
that'd be cool.
He doesn't just come in like, all right, governor.
Yeah, he looks,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Potter.
All right,
But
Potter,
I
you're
guess-
like right,
Potter,
you're
right,
right,
Potter.
stinking, aren't you, Potter?
I guess it's difficult.
I'll have you for chips, Potter.
With-
You
fucking
Gryffindor
waste
man then.
I'll rustle your class.
it's difficult with Alan Rickman being the other actor
Oh,
of
he's
Severus Snape.
absolutely irreplaceable.
Oh,
But it's gonna have
irreplaceable.
to happen
True.
soon as well.
Oh, it is. gonna
Yeah.
have to happen.
Turn to bed.
I've always liked the idea of Adrian Brody as Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always liked that
Ooh,
idea.
That's
but
cool.
That's always something I've always liked the idea of.
I don't think I have one personally, not that I can think of from the top of my head.
Robert Downey Jr. is Captain America.
Shut the fuck up.
Do you want to do yours, Brendan?
Right, let's go. Film you can't wait for in 2024.
Kung Fu
Kung Fu
Panda
Panda
4.
4.
Yes! Kung
I
Fu
don't know
Panda
how I feel
4!
about that. I don't know how I feel about Kung Fu
I-
Panda
Kung Fu
4.
Panda
Yeah,
4.
I'm
forward to
not a
it.
big fan of that.
It's the whole trilogy was already really good, so I'm kind of scared if there's some shits the bed. It's kind of
Yeah.
gonna.
I think I've seen
Yeah, there is a
one
bit of a
and
stigma
two,
on that
that's about
fourth
it.
film on the end of a trilogy.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones.
I also
perfect
think he
example.
finally like truly became the Dragon Warrior.
Sorry,
and now they're gonna like do another one.
Just over all of you. Despicable Me 4.
No.
Yeah, I
no,
know.
No.
Because,
Dog
because,
shit.
too many
because
films.
Gru
no,
does not have a baby.
no, the
No, he
suggestion
doesn't.
is that Gru has done the Devil's Tango, and that is something I love.
Don't think about Gru having sex. Don't think about Gru having sex.
Gru has done the Devil's Tango, and I will
Gru Fox.
Both bugs are
literally.
There's a few.
Look at that nose.
My quarrel with the trailer, however, is that the three children are exactly the same age as they were before, despite the fact that in order to do the Devil's Tango and then baby be born,
Yeah.
there's at least 9 months, and they look exactly the same
It's a
age.
kid's
Yeah.
animation. It doesn't
It's
exist.
Yeah.
it's
the
not that
minions
deep.
are real.
Well, to be fair, I thought teenage like, oh my god, Gru, you fuck.
I think
Deadpool, Wolverine,
Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Verse finally.
Spider-Verse.
I'm excited for June Part 2 because I love the first June.
Ooh, do you
I
know
thought
what?
you would say Inside Out too.
No,
that's
gonna
gonna
be
be
dog
ass. I'm sorry.
Who's the new emotion?
I have.
It's
four.
me.
Wow,
it's
puberty.
The teenager.
What was another one I was going to say? Joker comes out this year.
Yeah, Joker. I was gonna
Oh,
mention that one.
I
With
really-
Lady
yeah,
Gaga's
yeah.
Harley Quinn, but also there was another one I was going to say. It's a random one, but Bob Marley actually.
Biopic.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so bored of
I'm bored of
biopics, but it could be
biopics,
good.
yeah. Although
I
the
actually,
Amy
yeah.
Winehouse one looks good.
as I say, Amy Winehouse looks good. Just because I love Queen, the Bohemian Rhapsody, I think is amazing.
It is
Oh,
good.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Could have been better.
Half
I
half
don't
of
agree
us
with
are interested in like motorsport sort of.
Oh
like,
yeah.
William, Scott, Ollie, me
Mm.
I
in
know.
particular. Like
The Audi thing.
yeah, the Audi versus
Yeah.
Lancia one. That
Yeah,
looks
that-
quite good.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
I can't remember who's starring it. I think it's the guy who played Nicky.
Nicky Lauda in Rush.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
him. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
really good.
He's really good.
Really
he
good.
was really good as Nicky
Wasn't he in
Lauda.
Glorious Bastards?
Yes.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward
that's
to
good
that.
because I love
That's-
like Ford vs Ferrari. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that was yeah.
I got 4 films. It was 5, but he said Joker 2.
Good.
I didn't like the initial Joker, but I think if you're not curious to see Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn, I think you're kind of lying.
Yeah, I also
Yeah.
didn't really like the first Joker.
So we have Terrifier 3. That
Mm.
film's getting a 3rd one, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that one goes with
Yeah.
that budget. Then I have The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which
Oh,
I'm so excited
yeah.
for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bonhoeffer as well, which
Mm.
again is another
Mm-hmm.
historic film. And then I didn't think a lot of people was going to talk about it. I thought this was going to be one of those things that was going to be hyped up, but Borderlands is getting a film this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Borderlands is
Shit,
getting a
yeah.
film.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking
Do you know
terrified
what?
of
I
that because
actually
it
only
could be
heard about
dog.
that like a couple days ago.
It's interesting when they make games into films. I think.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't
got
they
very
they did that
various
with,
results.
What's it? Uncharted, didn't they? With Tom
Uncharted.
Holland?
Uncharted.
God,
Never had a
shit.
high opinion on a game to film adaptation.
That's what I mean. It's very hard to
Assassin's
smell.
Creed was shit as well.
Assassin's Creed was shit.
No,
No,
Assassin's
I'm
Creed
pretty
was
sure it was.
better.
Oh, wasn't it?
It was Mario's. Mario's.
Mario's.
Bros.
one.
Mario.
Yeah.
Lara Croft.
Lara Croft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario movie kind of just it did
That's
its
what I
job,
said
didn't
earlier.
it?
If you like Mario.
Yeah. I feel it's quite fan servicey.
But Chris Pratt.
The two things I'm kind of worried about the Borderlands film is that one, the writing quality has noticeably decreased in the games. Like they've like Borderlands has always had a very good, interesting sense of humor in how they write things, but Borderlands 3, fucking hell, it's not good. And then visuals of the film, because obviously Borderlands has a very unique art style. So if they don't follow that, it could look quite odd if it's live action.
Is it in animated or is it in live action?
I don't know. I think it's live action.
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
So it's because obviously it has very thick lines. It's very.
See, I feel like they should do an animated one.
I think it'd be cool to do animated.
I mean,
obviously they'd have to get permissions for that style, but I feel like in order to get Borderlands properly, they should have done it like that.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Having it live action, it's going to feel different.
Yeah. It's like I just hope, because I don't know if it's going to be like a retelling of the games or its own story. I really hope it's its own story because they tend to do that with the spin-offs as well.
Because it'll end up be a retell. It won't be as good and flop.
I think the Fallout series could make a great film.
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, it depends. If it's its own contained story, then yeah.
Yeah, I think it would have to be its own story because you could easily go down the route of telling any of the game's stories.
Fallout 4, where the fuck is my son?
Yeah.
If I had to adapt one of the New Vegas games, I mean, Fallout games, New Vegas.
Yeah,
it has to be New Vegas.
Everyone agrees.
Have you not heard the rumours that obviously now that what's this thing, Mickey Mouse? Now that Disney's lost the rights, they could
Steamboat Willie in particular.
Yeah,
as we Steamboat
potentially they're gonna make that into a horror film like they did.
Winnie the Pooh.
Like Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
Should we do that one quickly? I heard the camera turn off.
Oh, okay, go for it, and then we'll call it a day.
Rush. Quicker. Quick.
Already did
you already do that.
I did it. Go.
Best autobiographic. I can't read.
Autobiography.
Thank you. Movie depiction.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Selma.
Yeah, I'd say probably
Selma,
Bohemian Rhapsody as well.
I like Rocket Man, but
Wait, does it have to be musician?
No, he just said Selma.
For me, it's Selma.
Because again, that's like you can't pick a definitive best. It's very, but One Life is what I watched recently. That's stuck in my head. I don't know if you guys watched it.
I quite
forgot
like
the
Rush.
name of the actual film.
Stephen Hawking.
Rush is probably my favourite.
The Theory of Everything.
Yeah.
I also like that's a good one. I also like Rush.
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 I haven't watched it. I need to
Rush
watch
is
it.
so.
I mean, is Ford v Ferrari technically a
because he's about actual people.
But Selma
there's so many
is like
different
kind of a single
styles.
person. I personally, for me, it's Selma because I had to watch it for college, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
The pianist is in the running.
Pianist.
The pianist is like. That's what I mean. You can't really pick the best. It's going to be personal preference at the end of the day because
a lot of it will depend on your thoughts of the person.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, with the pianist, obviously.
What's another good one's like the Imitation Game.
Imitation Game,
as well.
Yeah, Imitation Game's good. Yeah.
So with the pianist, it's kind of like it's obviously very good, and I know you've watched it, one of your favourites, but it's kind of separating the art from the artist.
The director's not the best person.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's like because I'm so bored of biopics based on musicians. Because don't get me wrong, they've led interesting lives, but I always find historical figures more interesting.
Yeah.
Have anyone seen Napoleon?
Napoleon. No. I watched it.
Apparently, it's like nowhere near like historically accurate.
It's not that accurate. The issue I have with it is that it's very long, but most of it's talking. But to be fair, when it gets to the actual battles, it's really very visually pleasing. But
Isn't it really
it gets a bit boring.
I can't believe I said this. I do theatre. My favourite thing of all time is Les Mis. And I think Les Mis is an incredible film. Watching it next week because it's back in cinemas. It is. I'm watching it. I'm also watching Interstellar next week in IMAX.
IMAX, yes.
But yeah,
can I go with you on that one? Because I feel like I've not had like the cinema experience of Interstellar.
Honestly, I've only watched part of Interstellar.
I've only watched it on TV. I feel like I need the IMAX.
I think I started watching it with you, didn't I? I just
you didn't like it. Interstellar is.
I'd be down.
How much does it cost to go to see that in IMAX?
Probably like 15 quid.
I don't know. I have a pass every month.
I do. Okay.
No.
I feel like I need to watch Interstellar because it's like the Oppenheimer where it's a lot better when it's in cinemas.
Yeah, I think that is it for today.
Yeah, before we have another issue.
But yeah,
we've got 2 cameras for the
literally. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you are watching this, thank you also. Thank you all guys for joining for today's episode. And I'll see you
Back to the
next time.
Future is
Enjoy.
shit.